The man from Pago Pago, Cleon Eloise, gets his Ohio Bobcats teammates fired up for Thursday night college football. College football presented by Geico and College Sports Network. Tonight from Athens, Buffalo Bulls taking on the Ohio Bobcats in a MAC showdown. Those Bobcats stand atop of the East Division at 4-1, coming off of a very big victory over Toledo last week. Hi everyone, welcome into Peterson Stadium along with former Kansas State All-America Ben Lieber. I'm Dwayne Ballin. Tina Cervasio will join us shortly. Tonight, friend, should be fun.
Oh, this is going to be great. This is old school football. Both teams love to run the football, nice and physical.
Jordan Johnson for Buffalo is coming off a career week.
Yeah, he really is. And, you know, he's typically the bell cow type of guy. He doesn't really churn out big gains and big explosive runs, but last week they got their first conference win on his shoulders. He had a lot of explosive runs, got out in the open field, and showed off that deceptive speed. This is a Buffalo team that does not throw the football very well, so I expect to see a lot of him tonight.
Now for Ohio, a couple of storylines. One, they're dealing with a few injuries, but number two, the emergence of Quentin Maxwell as their starting quarterback.
Yeah, the redshirt freshman came in as an open quarterback competition just a few weeks ago. He won out because of consistency, but last week he got benched in the second quarter. Greg Windham goes down with an injury. He's forced back in the game, and really he was the spark that led him on that big victory that you talked about earlier. It was the big shots down the field, a lot of confidence he gained last week.
Those aforementioned injuries for Ohio, Dorian Brown, their star running back, dinged up some. Malik Irons may be ready to go, so we're not sure which one of these gentlemen will be back there.
And I hate to say this, but it might not even matter who we see, because this offensive line for the Ohio Bobcats is playing at an elite level. They open up huge holes just like this. Big running lanes, both running backs very capable with their vision, their speed, their good footwork, and their power to make big runs off of holes like that.
It is not a bad evening in Southeast Ohio. Temperatures in the low 60s, wind negligible, and the chance of rain is minimal. We had a bit early, but the football gods have promised us we will have a good evening for football. Buffalo has won the toss and has deferred, and Ohio will receive. Last year, Toledo, 41-17. Buffalo won this one last year. Time now for the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. At quarterback for Ohio, Quentin Maxwell, the freshman who has 159 yards, 2 touchdowns last week.
Well, and like I said, I think he walked away from that game with a lot of confidence. He got benched in the second quarter and had to think about it a little bit. Greg Windham goes down, and then all the shots that he missed in the first quarter, the deep shots, he started connecting on those, had a bunch of big plays. And again, they love how smart this kid is. He's learning each and every week. He does so much at the line of scrimmage. A lot of upside for this young quarterback.
First down at the 27. To the air goes Maxwell. Has a man open. He's got it. Still on his feet. Poppy White. The Bobcats strike early. 73 yards for a touchdown. How about that? The running back out of the backfield. They lined him up in the slot.
Well, this is something that Tim Albin, the offensive coordinator, loves to do. Throw on first down. Sometimes you don't always have to set up the run for play action pass to work. The Buffalo defense understands that a lot of teams like to run on first down. So even though it's the first play of the game, play action pass, get everybody to suck up, a little double move on the outside, and Poppy White, I know he's listed as a running back. You're going to see a lot of him at wide receiver.
Luis Urbos on for the extra point. It's good. And Ohio takes the very early 7-0 lead with one play of 73 yards, 17 seconds. We're rolling already in Athens. Back after this. Ohio at Buffalo, October 24th, 2015 in Buffalo, New York. The Bulls ran away with the game against the Bobcats. Jordan Johnson ran for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns in Buffalo's commanding 41-17 win over Ohio. For more, let's check in now with Tina Cervasio.
Dwayne, the Ohio coaching staff is still absolutely furious about that loss last season at Buffalo. Usually coaches like to put that to bed, not head coach Frank Solich, who said just yesterday, we got our butts kicked. The Buffalo defense stymied Ohio with 2 picks, including a pick 6, and they rushed for 161 yards. Ohio defensive coordinator Jimmy Burrows said they were embarrassed and outplayed and reminds the players every single day about that game. And according to linebacker Blair Brown, this week Coach Burrow would quiz the players. What was the score at the half? Who led them in rushing? Blair says that keeps it fresh in their minds, and they are playing with a chip on their shoulder tonight. Dwayne?
Thank you, Tina. Ben, you never want to hear that from coaches after a bad loss.
Well, you never want to, and boy, did they set the tone with that very first play-action pass to Poppy White on the outside. That's how you set the tempo. That's how you set the tone that you're not going to back down, and you want redemption from last year.
Time to take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. The quarterback for Buffalo, Tyree Jackson, and he is a tall drink of water.
Woo! 6'7", about 245 pounds. That's what he listed at, but he's actually probably a little bit bigger than that. You know, he's one of these dual threat type of running back or quarterbacks that he will run with the football. A lot of quarterback run game for him. He can throw the football though. The reason that his stats are not probably as big as they should be, a lot of drops with the wide receivers. He's got a big arm. He'll try to show it off tonight, but you're also going to see him run with the football.
Offensive coordinator Andy Koltanecki told us he is best when he establishes underneath first. On first down, he tries to run, doesn't get very far. His offensive mates, who are you looking at here, Ben?
Well, his leading receiver is Mason Schreck, the tight end. You know, he's come in. You don't typically see tight ends, especially in college football now, lead the team in receptions and yards, but he is that type of guy. He's the safety blanket for Tyree Jackson. So we'll see a lot of him tonight.
Schreck, 6'4", 258-pound senior. Jackson lost 1 yard on that carry. Now 2nd and 11 for Buffalo, already trailing 7-0. And the defensive unit of Ohio is so impressive, Ben. You see it there. This unit is strong.
Well, it's strong and they're relentless. I mean, you see it plastered all over their offices, relentless. They get after the ball carrier with a run or pass. And the guy that kind of leads them all over the defensive field is Blair Brown. This guy is a little undersized, but he's getting looked at right now as a potential NFL player. He's got great instincts, and he plays with that relentless tenacity that they preach here in Ohio.
78 tackles leading his team this year, as you see, the 9 for loss. 3rd and 11. And he finds the tight end, Schreck, who is their most reliable receiver. And you don't find that this day and age in college football.
No, you really don't. I mean, they go 4 wides on that last play. Typically, you see him in that D-gap area where most tight ends are, but because he's athletic, you can put him out as a wide receiver. He found a nice little soft spot in that middle of the field, and Tyree found him for a first down.
Buffalo at the 37. High snap, cross, short pass.
Well, and you see right there exactly what they want. It's a little play-action pass again. They like to run the football. And you see him, just like I talked about, 4 wides. He's a big tight end, a big target. Clearly a mismatch for a lot of linebackers and safeties. So when he gets out there as a split-out number 2, he can cause a lot of problems. And so far, he's making his presence known early in this football game.
That leads to 2nd and 3 for Buffalo. Jackson has the first down to Kamaki Hosley. He's a transfer from Independence Community College.
You know, he's one of these guys that came in late because of the transfer that you talked about. But when we talk to the coaches, he has the most potential of the wide receiver group. Again, the reason why Mason Schreck as a tight end that leads this team is because the receivers have not stepped up. They haven't been as consistent, haven't been as reliable. But Hosley is one of these guys that's stepping up and making a lot more plays lately.
That 7-yard pickup leads to first down. Cleon Aloese says no.
We saw him getting the team fired up from Pago Pago, American Samoa. It's not hard to lose him because of that hair. All you got to look for is the hair and that defensive front. Usually it's flying around because he's going 100 miles an hour. He can be a force on it. He doesn't always start, but he's getting a start tonight.
6 feet, 301 pounds is the redshirt junior. 2nd and 13. Jackson connects with another receiver, Malcolm Robinson. And what he's doing is what we were told by Coach Leipold that they wanted him to do, get the underneath passing going first.
Well, the underneath stuff is important because it builds that rhythm, gets that confidence that the quarterbacks are always looking for, but also it's ball distribution. You don't know who's going to catch the ball right now. We've got 3 different targets with the tight end and 2 wide receivers, so as a defense, it's really hard to hone in who's going to throw to.
3rd and 6, and Jackson goes down. That is what Ohio does so well. Quentin Poland, the man with the sack.
Well, he's your middle linebacker, and he's going to come flying right in the middle of your screen. He's on a delayed blitz, and once he sees that running back in a blocking position, he knows he can pull the trigger and go downhill. I talked about Blair Brown a little bit. Chad Moore is also another outside linebacker with a lot of instinct. This second level of this Ohio defense, I don't think gets talked about as much because the front 4 is awfully good. But these 3 linebackers, you're going to see them all night long flying all over the football field and making plays.
Sack number 30 for that Bobcat defensive unit. Kyle DeWeen's punt will go into the end zone. And Ohio will have the ball at the 20-yard line when we return. You're watching MAC Action on CBS Sports Network. Before he was dominating offenses with the Oakland Raiders, Khalil Mack was at Buffalo. He still owns school records for tackles for loss, sacks, and forced fumbles, which is also an NCAA record. Ben, our accurate keys to success. Let's take a look.
Well, for Buffalo offensively, they need to limit their 3rd and long situations because Ohio's so good at getting after the quarterback. Defensively, they have to win the line of scrimmage just like they did last year when they played against them. And Ohio, I say run, 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 but what do they do on the first play of the game? 73 yards to Poppy White. So they're going to come out tonight throwing the football around, but they need to run to establish the run game because that's their MO. And also defensively, hit their quarterback. 6-7 target, hit him early and often.
Malik Irons, number 21, is the running back in the backfield behind Quentin Maxwell. And he gets the handoff. Breaks around the corner, into the edge, running over defenders, close to a first down. Time to take a look at our Chick-fil-A lineups. For Ohio, you've already seen the quarterback in the offense. Sebastian Smith is leading the receiving corps.
Well, I talked about Poppy White a little bit, 73 yards on the first play, but really, Sebastian Smith is a guy that he's the head turner. He's the guy you have to look for on third downs. He's a big, tall receiver. Just put it in his vicinity, and he'll go get it.
Look at the Buffalo Bulls defensive unit, Ben.
Well, a guy that you put on the tape of Buffalo Bulls defense, and Brandon Crawford, number 55, is a playmaker. He plays so violently. When he's playing violent and when he's on the move disrupting things, it's awfully hard for any offense to get anything going, especially in the run game.
Defensive coordinator Brian Borland called him a difference maker. First down for Ohio. It's Poppy White again. This time he's running to defenders and will be dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, you can tell that right now they want to get Poppy White involved in this game. He's a running back. He's also a wide receiver. You see him lately more as a wide receiver. A loss of 4 yards there. And something that we'll have to watch here is just how slick this surface is going to be. About 2 hours before the game kicked off, we had some rain. We weren't expecting rain this late in the day, but we had some rain, so that field might be a little slick right now.
2nd and 13, Maxwell under pressure, steps up, eludes it, and dives forward.
Well, it was Romaine Douglas, number 99 for Buffalo. One of those big guys up front that can cause some problems. These guys, maybe statistically against the rush, not very good, but against the pass, number 1 in the conference, and it's because of plays like that. When they sense that you're going to drop back and throw, or in play action, they can attack the edges of the offensive lineman and get after the quarterback.
Pick up a 5 for Maxwell on that scramble. 3rd and 9. And down he goes, just as we spoke about the pass defense. They get into the backfield. And they dropped Maxwell. Damon Harris led the way.
Well, what you're going to see late here is just the twisting action of the defensive front. Last year, it gave this offense problems. They could not pick it up. They couldn't figure it out. So once again, you learn what you did from last year. You try to throw it in to see if they can stop it. Right now, they didn't stop it. You can see a lot more twisting and stunting by this defensive front to kind of confuse this Ohio offensive line.
That brings up Michael Farkas, who had an outstanding game last week with 6 punts inside of the 20-yard line. And this one will be fair caught by Island, where Buffalo will get the ball and return. Harris and his mates stand tall defensively. Will return after this. First quarter, Ohio leading Buffalo 7-0. Time to check in on Larry's Road Show, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Tonight, we focus on the Ohio University Marching 110, organized in 1923, first band to perform at Carnegie Hall in 1976, played at Bill Clinton's inaugural ball in 1993. And you know, Ben, how you get to Carnegie Hall?
How?
Practice, practice, practice. I couldn't resist that.
I should have known that. I really walked into that like, how? How do you do that?
You'd be a wonderful straight man. So Tyree Jackson and his teammates are trying to answer after being down 7-0 early. It was Jordan Johnson on the carry. Buffalo has had issues keeping up with opponents this year.
Yeah, they really have. And I think lately, though, they're starting to get things going. It's because of Tyree Jackson and runs like this, where he broken play, sees something on the right, on the left side that's supposed to be a screen pass, doesn't like what he sees, and you see his athleticism and his decisiveness to pull the ball down and pick up that first down using his legs. It's really the play of Tyree Jackson lately. Jordan Johnson, the performance last week, things like that. It's getting better. This offense is getting better. They haven't really shown it yet this game, but yes, it has been getting better. So numbers don't always tell the full story.
Illegal formation, offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat for second down.
Our referee Tom Stapleton, that doesn't help.
In the backfield.
Well, sometimes when you get in these like exotic formations, nobody up here was on the ball. That's a communication issue. That's a coaching issue. Clearly, they didn't practice that enough to the point where when you're going to get in these kind of trick situations to kind of throw off the defense, well, you got to get lined up first.
2nd and 13. Pass underneath, complete. That is Malcolm Robinson, his second catch of the evening.
You know, this is something that's probably going to show up a lot more as this game goes on, is how well Ohio tackles. Their defense, as I mentioned earlier, they can get after the ball carrier, they get off blocks, they run to the football, but individually this team can tackle very well. Not a whole lot of drag tackles, good initial pop at the point of attack, and they drive their feet. A lot of ball carriers get stalemated and go backwards as opposed to forwards.
That 11-yard pickup sets up 3rd and 2 at the 42-yard line. Buffalo. That should be enough for the first down from Jordan Johnson, who, as we noted, had that wonderful game last week, was named the MAC East Division Offensive Player of the Week.
Well, it's just a quick little speed option where they just flip the ball out to the running back, and when you only have to pick up a couple yards, you've got a 6'1" running back that's as big as Jordan Johnson. That's not hard for him. Moving the chains right now, they took another look at it. That's enough for a first down, but you can see what he can bring to the table. A big home run hitter, but if you need something on 3rd down, he's a big, strong, powerful guy that can lunge across that yard marker and pick up first downs.
Lance Leipold, the head coach, told us he has a super attitude. And those numbers last week, just tremendous in the NCAA. 282 yards.
Well, again, you can't have 282 yards without having some explosive runs, and that's something that they know that he's capable of. Hasn't really shown it much this season, but Everything was clicking. Offensive line did a fantastic job. You watch a lot of those runs from last week. Wasn't getting even touched until the second, third level.
Torran Davis stopped Johnson once he got past the linebackers. Pickup of 5. Davis is one of those leaders with 57 tackles, couple of interceptions, career high 17 tackles earlier this season against Texas State. 2nd and 5. Jackson looking to throw. And he goes down as he attempts to get away and out of the pocket. This Ohio Bobcat defensive unit just swarms to the ball. Kurt Lasik leading the way.
They did what they wanted to do on first down. They got 5 yards, gave themselves a manageable second down. And again, this Ohio defensive front, one of the best in the country at getting after the quarterback in passing situations. They drop back on 2nd and 5. Lasik comes up, beats his man, and once Jackson tries to elude him and get out of trouble, Lasik turns around, gets off the block, and sacks him for -3.
So the sack count is now 31 for Ohio. 3rd and 8. Jackson under pressure, gets it away, and it's picked off. Javon Hagan. And he has room up the sideline. Still on his feet. Finally dragged down near the 15-yard line. His 3rd interception of the season.
Well, once again, it starts up front. Watch the pressure initially by just a 4-man rush. That's not a blitz, that's a 4-man rush. They get to the quarterback right as he throws the football, an errant throw, and it's the man that they say has the it factor in Javon Hagan, a redshirt freshman, comes in, has been an absolute spark to an already good defense. It's a 60-yard interception return for Javon Hagan, an overthrown football, and he's in the right place at the right time.
Tonight's Red Zone is brought to you by Verizon. Ohio already has showcased an ability to strike deep. Now a more conventional path to the end zone movie. Dorian Brown with the carry, a couple of yards. He practiced some, but not a lot this week.
Yeah, he didn't practice a lot this week. I mean, he came off that huge week last week and didn't really come away with it wasn't a big apparent injury, something that he's been kind of been dealing with throughout the season, kind of flared up again. They gave him some time off. So it's good to see him back out here because he's a fun electric player to watch.
Maxwell throwing on 2nd and 9. It was caught, but was he in bounds? Sebastian Smith made the grab, but he appeared to be out of bounds.
And what I say about Sebastian Smith, just put it in the area. He says he's a stud receiver. I think his right foot was just on the white and out of bounds. But that's the type of playmaking ability he has. He's a big, rangy receiver with soft hands like you just saw. Just put it in the area, he'll go up and make a play.
This is brought to you, the Red Zone brought to you by Verizon on CBS Sports Network. Maxwell stepping up, throwing, has a man, and it is tipped and intercepted nearly. That #1 pass defense of Buffalo showcasing its abilities.
Well, I love everything about that play except for the end if you're Ohio. Maxwell does a good job of feeling the pressure, doesn't see the pressure, just feels it, steps up, tries to loft one in there to Poppy White, and just slightly underthrows it. Corner does a good job of sloughing off, felt that pass, batted the ball up in the end. You have to come down with that. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities, especially off a sudden change in the red zone.
Zervos comes on for the field goal, 32 yards. And he is now 19 of 24 on the season as he helps the Bobcats add to their lead. Frank Solich's team up 10-0 here in Athens. First quarter in Athens, 10-0, Ohio leading Buffalo. Tonight at 10, the PBR World Finals continue from Las Vegas as J.B. Mounty, Cooper Davis, and the rest battle it out to see who will take home the year's biggest title And stay tuned for Inside the PBR World Finals presented by B&W Trailer Hitchers immediately following the game right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Tyree Jackson has seen a lot of the Ohio defensive unit already this evening.
Well, we knew this Ohio defense was good, but they have been all over the football field right now early in this football game. Offense is on fire a little bit, and defense making plays. A couple sacks, interception, relentless pressure. We knew they were good. They're showing it tonight.
Look at Hagan, who came up with that 60-yard interception return. Jamal Island has some room on the near side, trying to get up the sideline, but is dragged down by Quentin Poland. This Ohio defensive unit coming out, we talked about them. Look, as you look at Brian Borland, Jimmy Burrow rather, those stats are very impressive.
Well, they're very impressive. I mean, to lead in all those categories and be number one, and you'll see by this little package here just how good they are already in this football game. They're instinctful, they're well coached, they play fast, they play hard, and guys, young players like Javon Hagan continue to make plays each and every week. So they're opportunistic, they do everything so well. Hard defense to run on and a hard defense to throw on.
Jonathan Hawkins in the backfield for Buffalo. Tyree Jackson miscommunicating with Hawkins, the sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia. He catches the ball well, that's why you see that.
Well, that's why you see that. But again, this is not what you want from your offense. Those quick little passes, those are just an extension of the run game. So you need to complete those things, not only to be productive, but also get your quarterback to settle down a little bit. They have to be good on first down from here throughout the night, because like you said, this defense is awfully hard to run on and throw on.
2nd and 10 for Buffalo from the Ohio 46. Jackson, quick throw. Finds Mason Schreck, who is his safety blanket.
Well, and those are the type of plays that, again, you need to complete on first down. They did that the last series. Picked up the first 5 yards on first down, then they were 2nd and 5. That gave them a little bit more options as an offensive coordinator to see if you can exploit this defense. Now they sit at 3rd down. I would expect right now to go back to Mason Schreck, number 85. You'll see him right here on your screen.
3rd down conversion so far for Buffalo, 2 of 4. Jackson, not much time to throw, flushed out of the pocket, runs, has the first down. And Moore will not go down easily. He barreled into Torrin Davis before he went down.
Well, the impressive thing about Tyree Jackson right now is watch how he goes through his progressions. Looks to the left, kind of scans and looks to the right. And on 3rd down, picks up 11 yards with his legs. So if the pass is not there, don't force anything. Don't make any dumb mental mistakes by trying to force a ball into traffic. If it's not there, athletic quarterback, pull the ball down and run just like you saw there.
Coach Leipold pointed out to us that he is young. He's still 18. He's still developing leadership skills, but they like his upside. He steps away from pressure and low balls his intended receiver. With more on Jackson, let's check in with Tina.
When Jackson came off the field last series, he definitely seemed frustrated. I mean, he was not hyperventilating, but really out of breath. Grabbed those headphones. He was on with the coaches in the booth for a while. He came over, was talking to his backup quarterbacks. He kept shaking his head in frustration, and you almost see him reacting on the field right now, sort of taking things into his own hands right now, Dwayne.
Well, Tina, it's interesting. He started 5 for 5 with 47 yards, but since then, it's 0 for 3 passing, so he needs to settle down. 2nd and 10.
Sideline.
Completes one to the near sideline. That is KJ Osborne, the freshman from Ypsilanti. Kylan Nelson defensively there for Ohio.
Well, not only does he need to settle down, but I'm guessing when he came off the field that last series, he got hit a lot on that last series. Probably frustrated that, the reads weren't there, the receivers are not getting open, and you can't give this defensive front much time to get to the quarterback because they're doing that already. He's a big quarterback. Yes, he can take some hits, but no quarterback likes to be hit, especially how much he has early in this game.
3rd and 3 from the 30. Jackson again. This time the ball was loose. Torrin Davis comes up with it, and the Ohio Bobcats defensive unit forces another turnover.
And Tyree's trying to say that he was down, but watch at the end of this play. Blair Brown, number 33, right there. Got a hand.
That's a fumble.
Or was the left knee down?
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
The
Play
left
is
knee
under
looked
further
down
review.
to me about a split second before the ball had come out. This will go under review. They'll take a look at it. But the heads-up play by Blair Brown, I pointed him out early in the football game about how special of a player that he is. Knee down, ball was moving, but ball was not out.
Is that enough to reverse the call?
I think it is. You can the ball can move, you just can't lose control of it.
Knees down there.
He still has full control of the ball, and then it comes out.
I think you're right, partner. I think you're right.
I hope I'm right.
I think I stand corrected. I think you're right. In real time, it looked like a fumble.
I would be surprised after they slow this thing down if they come back and say that the call stands on the field. Because I agree, you know, in real time, that's a hard call. I thought the ball had come out as well. I thought it was a live fumble. But when you look at it, again, that's the beauty of instant replay. That's the beauty of slow motion, is that you can see how fast this game is, slow down, and see those details that you miss when you're watching it live.
Interesting. One of the things that Frank Solich told Tina, you, and myself when we were chatting with him was we must win field position, sacks, and turnovers. Those are the 3 battles within this war that we need to win.
Well, turnovers are always a part of your game plan going into every week.
Here's the call.
After review, the runner was down prior to the ball coming out. It'll be 1st down and 10 Buffalo at the 26-yard line.
Well, the
clock will
Bobcats
start on the ready for play.
Bobcats fans do not like that, but that's a huge reversal for Lance Leipold's team.
Well, they may not like it, but that's the correct call. I mean, I can understand how they might not like it if it was the wrong call, but that's the correct call. They got it right, and it's a drive saver for this offense that needs to respond when they're down 10-0 already.
1st down. That's Hawkins with some running room out to the left side. We are nearing the 1-minute mark remaining in the 1st quarter. There's a marker down on the field.
After the play, dead ball, unsportsmanlike. Offense number 70, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down. That's number 70's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game.
That's David Goldsby, a transfer from Ellsworth Community College.
We'll take a look at the replay of Goldsby, number 70. You see him right there on the 20-yard line, just shoving the back. Shut Casey Sales right in the middle of the back as the play was over. That's a good call, and you heard it there. That's his first unsportsmanlike. One more, and he's ejected from this football game.
2nd and 21. Good defensive work there by Torrin Davis as Jackson was looking for Shrek. That sounds odd when you say it.
Shrek.
Buffalo 4 of 6 on 3rd down so far. And the Bulls certainly need some points here. $21 yards to go for a first. Hawkins out of the backfield, catches it, makes up a lot of ground, but not enough for a 1st down.
Well, at least you gave yourself a better opportunity for a closer field goal attempt. Not many people have you know, a 3rd and 20 play in their playbook to try to pick up that 3rd down conversion. So usually it's screens, draws, try to get something out, pick up some yards, and at least give your field goal kicker a closer target.
Mitchison on for a 38-yard attempt. His longest is 45 this year, but this one is wide to the right. He had the push, but not the angle. So the Ohio defensive unit rebuffs all Buffalo intrusions here.
You can see how important it was to play clean football. When you're a struggling offense and you're a team that hasn't won but 2 games, you can't afford to go on the road and have dumb penalties like we saw with David Goldsby. Play was over. You decide to show your toughness to a guy in the middle of his back. You shove him down. And all of a sudden, you put your offense at a big disadvantage by backing them up 15 yards. And again, you got to play clean. You got to play smart football. And they didn't do that. They killed a drive there, and then they missed the field goal. So missed a huge opportunity to at least get 3 points on the board and keep this game close.
So the Bobcats offensive unit is back out on the field with Quentin Maxwell. Poppy White is in the backfield. He caught that 73-yard strike on the first play from scrimmage. He catches this one and is still on his feet, eluding tacklers. He is a tough, difficult runner to bring down.
Well, he may not seem like an LA 5'9" and 170, but he is a tough runner.
Frank Solich told us that when he catches the ball, he is so deadly with his feet against defenders. Picked up 16 on that play.
That's the end of the first quarter.
It's gone well for Quentin Maxwell and the Ohio Bobcats. That's the end of the first quarter with the score, Ohio 10, Buffalo nothing. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Lance Leipold's Buffalo Bills trail 10-0 as we begin the second quarter. It has been an especially trying season and off-season for the Bulls. Tina has more.
Yeah, Dwayne, these Buffalo players are still grieving the loss of their teammate Solomon Jackson. The 20-year-old passed away on February 29th, 1 week after collapsing during an off-season workout. Coach Leipold described Solomon as the nicest kid, a man of faith, always smiling. He would take players grocery shopping and pay if they couldn't afford it. And each week at practice, players step up and speak about Solomon. They tell stories, however, some just can't talk about it just yet. They're still too deeply affected. Now, players are dedicating the season to Solomon. They're wearing all for one on the front of their helmets in one decal. That's their team slogan, using his number. And then on the back, they have his number 41 decal. The biggest tribute, however, that comes from cornerback Boise Ross. Solomon's roommate and best friend asked Solomon's parents and got permission to wear Solomon's number 41 this year. These players are doing their best to heal while also keeping their teammates' legacy alive.
Very special
start.
story.
Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, first down.
False start called against Ohio. And Tina, you know, last week in that victory, they scored 41 points. And not a few players on this particular Bulls team just wondered, did Solomon have something to do with that? How about that? First and 15 for Ohio, leading 10-0. Maxwell has a receiver open and still on his feet.
Well, it's going to be the play-action pass. Once again, it sets everything up. Second-level players all suck in, and you get Sebastian Smith on a little skinny post that kind of gets open in that void, and Quentin Maxwell saw it, executed, perfect, and once again, when they need it, they can throw the football with effectiveness off the play-action pass.
Pick up 33 yards. First and 10 from the 35. Now they're getting that running game going. That is Malik Irons, who's physical and has a great feel for the game, according to Frank Solich. Pickup of 9.
You see what they're doing offensively this game that maybe they don't typically do in the previous games, is they're setting up the run with the pass as opposed to running to set up the pass the other way. So they're passing the football around, throwing on first down. That's setting everything up for guys like Irons to run the ball.
Irons was just about on his way before he was tripped up by Matt Otwanowski. You know, this is an interesting young man. He hails from Canada. There
timeout for an
is a
injured
player
player
down on the field for Ohio. That's
Looks like
Josh
it's Josh
Cooper.
Cooper.
Yeah,
Yep.
Josh Cooper, the redshirt senior from Yazoo City, Mississippi, who has improved a lot over the last couple of weeks. And the coaches really like the way he's been playing, as this entire offensive line has gotten better and better, and as a matter of fact, exceeded their expectations.
Well, whenever you have a ground game as effective as Ohio's, everybody up front, and you'll see right here, that's the left guard, Josh Cooper. They're looking at his left knee as he kind of gets buckled up under. Always dangerous at the line. Got to keep your feet moving because guys can come up from behind and roll up from behind you. That's why a lot of teams, and you can see Frank Solich wants his offensive linemen all to wear those protective braces on their knees. That's all just preventative stuff. These guys all up front don't have knee issues. It's just that you want to protect yourself in situations like that. So hopefully the knee guards and knee protection did protect him from further, maybe more catastrophic injury.
Nick Gibbons will come in, number 78, to replace Cooper. One of the things that Coach Solich told us also was that one of the reasons this offensive line is so good is because for the first time in a number of years, the same group of players have played consistently together.
Well, you're always looking for team chemistry, receiver group, with your quarterback, and especially with your offensive line. They always say the games are won and lost in the offensive line and up front, and when those guys all play together, all five, the communication, the physicality, all can mesh together seamlessly.
From the 21, Maxwell looking for a receiver. There was contact, and there is the flag. He's looking for White.
And it's Dev Lamore. You'll see him right here on Poppy White on the inside. Ball's in the air. Left hand comes out, grabs the front shoulder pad, and just yanks him down.
Pass
so that's
interference.
a good call.
Defense, number 28. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Ohio has been dominant. Average yards per play for Ohio in this game so far, 10.7. Buffalo, 3.8.
Well, a lot of it was the first play of the game when Poppy White went 73 yards. But, you know, they are doing a great job of picking up chunk yards, whether it's play action pass or run the ball.
First and 10 from the 11. Irons cuts back upfield and gets close to the goal line near the 1 yard line.
Well, it's all about the wash. They get everybody running to the right. And that just allows the running back to see those things, hide behind their linemen just a little bit. And you see Malik Irons with that vision and that speed to one cut and get vertical up the field.
Irons from Chilliwack, British Columbia. Second and 1. Not too much there as Buffalo's defensive unit stopped.
Well, it's just a simple little fold play with Darrell Woods, 57. He's the right guard, kind of folds across to get that extra lineman and to have Irons run right behind him. Now, this is typically where you see Quentin Maxwell, the quarterback, running with the ball. But because of injury with Greg Windham, the backup quarterback, they really want to limit the amount of designed quarterback runs that he has in this game. But this is a perfect opportunity to kind of get him back for a 1 yard plunge and get him into the end zone.
Whistles blown, officials conferring.
Please set the game clock to 12:41, please. 12:41. Thank you.
Frank Solich now in his 12th year here in Athens, third on the MAC's all-time win list. That's 6 points, Malik Irons.
Well, it's a simple just read option. Quentin Maxwell's going to ride Malik Irons. Check out the overhang player, decides to hand the ball off, and Irons with that big physical offensive line plunges in for a 1-yard touchdown. So cause and effect, they miss the field goal for Buffalo. And right down the field comes Ohio, and they put another 6 points on the board.
Zervos extra point is good, and now Ohio leading at 17-0. The man from north of the border scores 6. Bobcats continue to roar. Ohio leading Buffalo 17-0 in the second quarter. Tomorrow night at 6 Eastern. Join CBS Sports Network for more action when quarterback Cooper Rush and the Chippewas of Central Michigan travel to Oxford to take on the Miami Redhawks, presented by Geico, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Then take a look at those MAC standings. These very Ohio Bobcats, with that big win last week against Toledo, are entrenched in first place in the East, and Western Michigan ranked 23rd and unbeaten atop the West.
Well, when they talk about controlling your destiny, that win last week at Toledo put them in a position to truly control their destiny. All they have to do is take care of your wins, take care of yourself. You don't have to worry about anybody else winning or losing. You control your destiny in the East, and then the big matchup later on in a couple weeks between Toledo and Western Michigan. That is going to be a huge game. It's going to decide who goes to play possibly Ohio in Detroit.
Jamal Island. Ball is loose. And it's recovered by Ohio. Everything going well for the Bobcats.
Timeout for an injured
See on the
player.
right side of your screen. Helmet right on the football. Tremendous
Pulling on
job
the field is a fumble recovered
of
by
filling the
kicking team.
void.
First down.
And putting his helmet right on the football and knocking that ball out. There is an injury on the field. We'll take a look at who that is, but here it is again. When you talk about attacking the football and tackling well, if you put your helmet right on the football, I don't care how many points of pressure that you have on the ball, typically that's when the ball pops out. And there's Lance Leipold, the head coach from Buffalo, obviously disgusted at what he saw. And there's the man that caused the fumble. It's Brad Ellis, a cornerback from Lebanon, Ohio, making his mark on special teams. If you can't crack the starting lineup, you've got to make your name known on special teams. Comes down the middle of the field on the right side and just fills that lane perfectly, doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And again, puts his helmet right on the football. And again, sudden change. You can't go on the road if you're Buffalo and continue to give Ohio these opportunities.
21st takeaway of the year for the Bobcats. Malik Irons in the backfield along with Quentin Maxwell, as they have wonderful field position thanks to that turnover on special teams. Ball at the 34. Maxwell, time to throw. Just beyond the outstretched hands of Sebastian Smith. Defensively, Ryan Wilson was there with him.
Well, it's a double move both by Belak and Smith on the outside. And just as that ball looked like it was going to be thrown too far, Maxwell put just enough air onto it, and that's what we call.
Troy Mangin, the tight end, in motion. That's Irons, and he runs into 4 white jerseys. No gain on the play. Most prominent was Khalil Hodge, number 4, that sophomore linebacker from Stockton.
Well, and this is where Buffalo hasn't seen much of, is third and long situation. You know, they can get after the quarterback as well. And on the flip side for Tim Albin, he hasn't really had a play call for third and long situation either. This is typically where you see a guy like Kyle Belak, number 16. You'll see him right here in the slot.
First charge timeout, Ohio.
Frank Solich wants to talk about it.
30-second charge timeout.
Our Vistafint profile, we just mentioned Khalil Hodge. He has 93 tackles coming into the game to lead Buffalo in that category. Our Vistafint player profile, sophomore from Stockton, transfer from City College of San Francisco, and he has a very high motor.
Well, he's got a high motor, and he's just now starting to kind of like get comfortable with this defense. Like you mentioned, a transfer in from San Francisco. He's just playing off instincts early on in this season. He's very instinctful. He knows where to go. He knows how to get to the football. It's just lately now the coaches are finally happy and comfortable with him from the mental aspect, getting people lined up, thinking ahead as opposed to just reacting. And when this guy gets even more comfortable, he's going to be a dangerous weapon defensively.
They really like him a lot. 3rd and 10. Buffalo showing blitz. Maxwell under pressure, gets it away, looking for Poppy White, but there were 2 defenders there.
Well, this is a big win for Buffalo. Again, the first time they've seen 3rd and 10, obvious passing situation. Ohio goes after Poppy White once again. He's been their bell cow so far in the pass game. And Buffalo comes up with a big stop off an errant throw by Quentin Maxwell.
Well, Coach Solis said to us, we will find ways to get number 4 the ball. 51-yard field goal attempt for Luis Zervas. His longest of the season is 47. And he has a new season high, 51 yards. It's his career long. Luis Zervas, 51 yards for a career best field goal. Bobcats in control, 20-0. Here in Athens, Tina, a number of players are getting banged up tonight.
Yeah, Dwayne, let's start with Ohio guard Josh Cooper. He has gone back to the locker room on crutches. When he came back to the bench, they were checking the outside of his left ankle, and then they cut the tape. He took his jersey off, and while the training staff cannot refer any information on the injury, they said he's questionable. That is highly doubtful because he has left without his jersey on. As far as Brad Ellis, he was pointing to his left hip, but I saw him talk to an assistant coach. He said he's okay, Dwayne.
Thank you, Tina. Island with the fair catch in the end zone. So Buffalo will take over at the 25-yard line. Buffalo is just, they've been behind the 8 ball from the beginning of this game because of that 73-yard play by Ohio to open the game. And now look at what's happened when they've had the ball.
Well, it's ineffectiveness on first down. They're averaging less than 2 yards on first down, which is putting them behind the 8 ball. They can't really get into the running game. They're kind of forced to throw the football. Look at that punt, turnover, then they had an opportunity, then they turned the ball over on special teams, so nothing's flowing right now collectively for Buffalo.
On the ground is Johnson, and he goes down quickly. Brown closes on him. This team tackles so well.
Oh, they tackle so well. I mentioned it earlier that they do like to gang tackle, but individually with guys like Blair Brown, when they step up and they get their arms, and typically you're going to go down. That's a big, strong tackle on a big running back.
Another player down for Ohio. This is Tony Porter, the redshirt junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, one of their nose tackles.
And he's one of their big dominating forces up front. So strong with his hat and hands at the point of attack. He makes a lot of plays by punching, gaining separation, using his long arms, and getting off to make plays. But they have a bunch of guys. Cleon Alalese, this that we talked about earlier. Tom Strobel can come in. Those guys can kind of all rotate and keep people fresh. That's kind of the new thing in college football, is to have a bunch of guys that can play up front and keep you fresh, because it's throwing the football around, it's quick tempo on offense, keep the guys fresh. So it's a loss. He's walking off the field right now, but they got a group of guys that can step up for him.
2nd and 10 after no pickup after Brown's tackle of Johnson. Frank Solich told us before the game that he was excited about this defensive unit. Not so much on this play. Check the big tight end, takes a shot, still on his feet. And he left Torrin Davis in his wake.
You just when I'm applauding this defense for tackling well, Torrin Davis has, and you'll see him right here, come out and up from the tight end spot. A slight little wheel route, tough for any linebacker to cover, and then it's all brute force. You can see why he's so good running after the catch, because he's a big guy that runs his legs, and Torrin Davis cannot bring him down. That's the spark that you need for Buffalo's offense.
Mitchison's extra point was good. 4 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown for number 85. Do not get in this man's way. Courtesy Shrek, Ohio 20. Buffalo now on the board with 7. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, Rick Neuheisel, and Christian Fourier. Scores and highlights from around the country and first half analysis. Some games going on tonight, very interesting that they will be talking about too. Oklahoma has won 17 straight, meeting against Iowa State dating back to 1990. Shrek's numbers tonight. He's a tireless worker, they told us, and he wants to be great.
Well, he wants to be great, and he can run after the catch. I mean, typically when you think of tight ends, you know, blocking guys, they just kind of line up in the D area and they help the running game. But tight ends, these new age tight ends are receiving tight ends. And when you can run that well with that much power on a big body, as we saw from Torrin Davis, could not bring him down, you can see why he's such a vital weapon and a good outlet for this quarterback.
How much does a play like that help Tyree Jackson's confidence in this game?
Well, it's huge. I mean, he started off really well, and then he kind of got banged around a little bit, inaccurate on some throws, and you're down 20-0 at that point, and you need something. It was a quick pass, a little wheel route to the tight end, proves effective, and that's the sort of plays that will bring some confidence to a young quarterback.
Kyle Belite takes the kickoff out over the 30-yard line. There's Jackson, and they like him. They really do like him. They know there are things that they have to work on with developing him, but they are excited about what they think he could be.
Well, he has all the physical tools that you're looking for. That he is exceptionally big, 6'7". You don't typically see 6'7" players unless they're offensive tackles, so you don't see that at the quarterback. But he uses his size well. He can see the field very well. He's got a big live arm, so he can make a lot of throws, but he's young. And the thing they really like about him is his natural leadership abilities. So he can lead this football team for many years to come.
1st and 10 for the Bobcats at their 33-yard line. Rolling right. Sebastian Smith was Maxwell, and he fights his way close to a first down. Ohio's first 5 possessions, not too bad.
Not too bad at all. You know, an offense that's typically known to kind of grind out a lot of plays. They came out with a quick strike and really been striking early and often throughout. So they've been keeping this defense off kilter, not running the football as much as they do on first down, throwing the ball more to open up things like that. Those are the plays that they can make when they throw the football. Change of philosophy for this game, and it's working.
Irons into the secondary, where he was finally stopped by Tim Roberts.
Well, see, it's the pulling guards once again. You'll see Joe Anderson, the right guard. They bring those extra blockers. That is something that's typical of this Ohio offense, that they will use their guards pulling around to get extra big bodies in there to open up those holes.
You saw offensive coordinator Tim Albin, who told us yesterday that this is a big opportunity for Irons tonight. Jordan Reed with the reception. He's met by Cameron Lewis. Albin's in the military hat. You know, they let Irons know that, you know, because of Dorian Brown's injury, you've got a shot to showcase yourself this evening. And there he goes again up the middle, flags fly.
See if we get a holding call up front, thrown in the direction, the vicinity of a holding call.
Holding, offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And it's the young man out of Torrance, California. That's 63, Joe Anderson. just mentioned him earlier, had the key block on that Malik Irons run.
Dorian Brown, who had that outstanding game, 212 yards a week ago, but as we've noted, he's been nicked and banged this week and really couldn't go all out. But Malik Irons so far has proved a very, very solid understudy. Maxwell tries to get away, he doesn't. Flags are flying. Chris Ford was on top of him, but it may be going against Ohio.
Well, Buffalo at that point in time, second and long, you're thinking passing situation. They bring a corner blitz. And again, twist all the guys up front to cause some confusion.
Our offsetting fouls on the play. Holding, offense number 74. Personal foul, face mask, defense number 58. Penalties offset, second down.
Well, you'll see the face mask here at the end of this play. It's Chris Ford, one of those looping defensive linemen like I talked about. Negates not only a great defensive play, but also a holding call on Jared McCray.
Second and 12. Maxwell gets it away. He was looking at the far sideline for Sebastian Smith, but there was pressure.
Well, there was pressure, and Sebastian Smith, he's a big, strong guy, but he has to be careful because he had his hands on the corner and pushed off to try to gain separation. It wasn't called because it wasn't a critical factor on the overthrown ball, but he's got to be careful out there to not get too physical when the ball's in the air.
Third down from the 36 of Buffalo. Ohio leading it 20-7. 9:04 remaining in the half. Maxwell, this time to throw. Touchdown, Elijah Ball.
Touchdown reception.
36 yards.
Well, it's just a man-to-man situation with the safety in the middle of the field. And the guy we don't talk about a lot, a redshirt freshman, Elijah Ball, goes up and gets that in traffic. It was a nice, slightly underthrown ball by Maxwell, and he comes down fighting for it for another touchdown for the Ohio Bobcats.
And Louis Zerbos pushes the lead back to 20 points. 5 plays, 67 yards. And Maxwell finds Ball in the end zone.
It's been an offensive showcase for the Ohio Bobcats as they lead 27-7. And here's the last scoring drive, the 36-yard pass for Elijah Ball. This is two-man, and you're going to see Ball run just on the outside. It's Quentin Maxwell understanding two-man. That's a long run for that safety. So he puts the ball on the outside, and Elijah Ball goes up and competes for it. Quentin Maxwell's hot right now throwing the football, but it's nice adjustment, understanding the coverage there on that 3rd and 12 situation. Two-man, throw it out to the number one receiver, and let your athletes go up and make plays.
Tyree Jackson awaiting his opportunity to come back out on the field. Michael Farkas will kick it away for the Ohio Bobcats. Lead the East Division in the MAC and are in control here so far this evening. In this series, Ohio leads it overall 13-9. Gets out to near the 34-yard line. Now let's check in with Tina Shavasio, who has more on Ohio's Tony Porter.
Tony Porter is walking right by me now. His shoe is off. He's putting very little weight on it. It appears he's going to the locker room and he's done for the night. He had ice on it for a while and he just looks so disappointed. There was one point where Porter was on the training table and 7 or 8 players were around him consoling him, including Chad Moore, who just had his arm around him. Porter is done for the night with a right foot injury, Dwayne.
That impressive nose tackle, Tina. They're going to miss him, but they are so strong defensively with those 7 up front.
Well, as this game goes on, and we mentioned the big play ability for Ohio, that's forcing Buffalo now offensively to kind of press it a little bit. They'd like to run the football, they want to run the football, but at this point, when you're down 20 points here, you have to find something, especially after the big play of the last series with Mason Streck going 75 yards for a touchdown. They have that ability. They need to keep throwing the football to stay in this game.
Buffalo just 165 total offensive yards so far. That in no small part to the dominance of Ohio's defensive unit. Jackson did not connect with his receiver. It's a little low, but was still a catchable ball, it appeared.
Well, it's still catchable, and that's really the thing that's been hurting this receiving unit overall is just dropped footballs. All year long, you've got a young quarterback, you need to bail him out at times. It's not always going to be perfect. You can't always be placed on the numbers. You have to make some tough catches, and throughout this season, it keeps showing up, dropped passes.
3rd and 7 for the Bulls, and they could use some good momentum here. Jackson has the receiver open. That's Jalen Fox defensively there, knocking Marcus McGill out of bounds.
Marcus McGill is just on the right side of your screen, just out of reach. And what Ohio's doing is playing a slightly light off-zone coverage and allows McGill to kind of see that soft spot in the defense, run that out-cutting route, and a nice thrown ball by the quarterback to get it there. Those are the type of plays that you need to take advantage of if Ohio's going to play off the line of scrimmage.
Jordan Johnson picks up enough to get them very close to the first down. 2nd and 1. .7:24 remaining here in the second quarter at Peden Stadium in Athens, Ohio. Jackson, time to throw, going deep. The grab is made by Malcolm Robinson. He had to actually wait for the pass.
He had to wait for it. And again, it's the big playability with his arm. You're going to see him come all the way across in the middle of the field. It's kind of a deep over route. As we see a kind of a broken play.
That was a 44-yard play, and now there are whistles and a bit of confusion on the field.
Jordan Johnson, the running back, just runs right in the end zone untouched, but there was a group of guys, both offensive and defensively, that were just standing around as if they weren't ready for the play to be snapped.
Tom Stapleton coming over to speak with Frank Solich. It has been all Ohio. They have been dominant on both sides of the ball so far this evening. Along with Tina Servacio, Ben Lieber, our entire CBS Sports Network crew. I'm Dwayne Ballin. And that last catch was a great effort by Malcolm Robinson.
It was a great effort, and it was a nicely thrown ball. He put enough air on the ball for his receiver to make the adjustment and go up and make the catch.
Officials are not in position to start the play. The 1st and goal at the 2-yard line.
Well, that sets up what the Bobcats hope will be a short touchdown run. 1st and goal. That's Johnson again.
Tyree Jackson faked everybody out there. Chad Moore, number 38, the linebacker, actually tried to sling him to the ground because he thought he had the football. You got a big body like that, it's hard to see that mesh point sometimes, and because he can't run with the football, that was a nice effort by Mortis to try to take him down.
Buffalo the opportunity to punch it over. Jordan Jackson is corralled and dropped Quentin Poling, the junior from Spencerville, Ohio, who coaches say has good recognition, makes the play.
Well, it's all instincts, good recognition. He understands that they want to get downhill in that gap to try to run the ball. And Quentin Poling, who's made a number of plays just like that on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Once again, you have to be decisive, and that's what he was on that last play. Ball was snapped, he made a decision and went downhill and made another play behind the line of scrimmage.
Rushing yardage they have held Buffalo to has been so impressive tonight. 3rd and goal, there's movement, and the flags are out.
False start offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Brandon Malasalvas, junior from Paramus, New Jersey.
And we'll see the left guard right there jump too early. And once again, it's the unforced errors for Buffalo that's kind of hurting them throughout this game. They get down in the red zone. They lose the momentum because they snap the ball too early. Not penalized, but you kind of lose that momentum. And now you got a 3rd and longer situation because you guys can't hold your water and you jumped off sides.
Buffalo just 19 yards rushing on 15 attempts. This is Jackson. He gets back to the 5-yard line, but is stopped. Chad Moore, the junior from Grove City, Ohio, who had a career-high 8 tackles last week, makes the stop.
And Lance Leipold decides not to go for it on 4th down. Down by 20 points here in the waning moments of the first half. I don't like it. I think you're on the road. Nothing to lose. Stay aggressive.
22-yard field goal attempt. And it's 3 more that Buffalo really needs. The Bulls move into double digits. 4:54 remaining here in the 2nd quarter, and it has been very tough sledding thanks to Frank Solich's defensive unit and some offensive firepower they showcased from the very beginning of this game. Lance Leipold on the other side was actually on Frank Solich's staff at Nebraska from 01 to 03.
Well, and you just wonder that because of that sort of background and that pedigree that, you know, Nebraska, you typically think of old school, conservative football, want to run to set up the pass. But again, we go back to this attempt, this field goal that we just saw. I don't really like the call. You know, you're on the road, you really have nothing to lose and everything to gain by beating a team like Ohio, and you're trying to build some confidence. I would say put some faith in your defense if you don't convert. You know, put it on the shoulders of your young quarterback. You've got a big bruising running back that can make some plays. I would say if you had to do it all over again, I would go for the 6.
Well, Lance Leipold clearly wasn't happy about something on the sidelines. He's giving the officials an earful. Imagine he'll be doing that in a few minutes in the locker room. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico from Athens, Ohio.
What?
So far, Quentin Maxwell has had a pretty productive evening, growing into that starting role.
Well, he's growing into it, I think, now because he knows that Greg Wyndham is injured and he's suited up but probably won't play unless it's an emergency situation. Probably allows him to relax a little bit. When you fear sometimes you're on a short leash like he was last week, he's not throwing the football very well, that you're going to get yanked, sometimes you play a little tighter, you seem to overthink things. And tonight, he's been playing loose, decisive throwing the football, and his receivers have made some plays and kind of bailed him out a little bit, but he looks a lot more comfortable this week than he did last week.
Coach is working to improve his decision making. It's easy when you can hand the ball off to one of your talented running backs. In this case, it's Dorian Brown, who Frank Solich said an interesting thing to us, that he hugs his offensive linemen well. And I looked at you, and you scratch your head a bit.
Well, you know, I've heard of staying close to your offensive lineman and being patient in the running game, but I've never actually heard the word hugging your offensive lineman. But they talk about where Dorian Brown's gotten better because he is such a north-south runner, and they usually rely on him to pick up the tough third down conversions or in the goal line. But when he became the bell cow because Malik Irons went down, he kind of had to learn how to be more of an all-around running back. And by doing that, like he said, he's hugging his linemen more, he's running up to the back of them, being patient, and then off their backs and off their hips, making those cuts late. And that's been the big difference in his running game.
No yards on that last one, thanks to Matt Otwinowski, who stopped him at the line of scrimmage. Now Brown goes into motion. It's Sebastian Smith in the slot. He had room to run. Marcus Fly on the field.
And they may either get Darrell Woods, the right guard, who's coming out on that inside screen. And it looks like they will. It's going to be a holding call, I believe, on 57, Darrell Woods. And once again, third down when you need a play to be made. It's Sebastian Smith or it's Poppy White. And that time they opted for Sebastian Smith, but they're going to get sent back because of an offensive holding call.
Holding, offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, third down.
Well, there he is. The guy that got popped for the holding call, that's Darrell Woods, had an offsides earlier in the game. And when you get out in space like that, sometimes you can wrap your arms around the big defensive tackles and they won't see that, but they're going to call that every time when you're out in the open and the referees can see that clear as day. That's a holding call.
He just wanted to dance with Ishmael Hargrove.
What were we talking about? The hugging of the running backs? Yeah, you can't hug when you block like that.
Third and 14. It's Brown working his way up the field and carrying with him Hargrove.
First charge timeout, Buffalo.
Buffalo takes the timeout. Lance Leipold wants to talk some things over as we get close to the 3-minute mark remaining here in the first half in Athens. You know, it's interesting. Leipold last week, they had the big win over Akron, 41-20. Prior to that, they were 1-6, but he told us, you know, we're not a 1-6 team. I kept telling our team that.
Well, you want to do whatever you can to instill some confidence in a team that only had one loss and was on a big skid like that. Morale's probably down, but he's right. You gotta put some belief in these guys and make them believe in themselves. And boy, they responded against a team in Akron that, you know, with Ohio was right there at the top of their division. They needed to win that football game, and I don't know if they took Buffalo for granted, but Buffalo came out and hit them in the mouth, continued to do that throughout the game, and they won a decisive big victory in the conference.
Jamal Island, another marker comes out. MAC headlines this evening. Western Michigan remains unbeaten. What else strikes you about the conference this week?
Well, like I was talking about with Akron, I mean, they were kind of in the driver's seat themselves. All they had to do is just kind of take care of their business week in and week out and have a chance to battle Ohio here in 2 weeks to see who can be on top of their division. They got beat last week. They get beat again, so not responding. But, you know, I think the most important thing right now is Western Michigan, how well they are playing. They're now on the national level, which puts the conference on the national level. And that game coming up in a couple weeks with Toledo, that is going to be a high-scoring affair. Both offenses highly ranked, throwing the football all around. I would definitely tune into that game because you're going to see a lot of points being scored.
Blocking the back called on Buffalo. The ball was moved back, so the Bulls began first and 10 from the 21-yard line, trailing 27-10. Jackson is level, gets the ball away. He was trying to connect with Robinson, but there were Bobcats in his face.
Well, you're going to see Basham at the top of the screen, just reading that, trying to see if it's going to be a run, shuffles down the line and gets up. He shows off his athleticism and speed and burst from the edge once he realizes it's going to be a pass play and gets to pressure on the quarterback.
Second down. Jackson finds Trent. Pick up of a couple, maybe three. Trent Smart was there defensively.
Well, once again, it's the inability on first down to really pick up any yardage. You've got a moderate pickup on second down, and once again, it's an obvious passing situation for a team and a defense that's really good at getting after the passer. So they're not doing all that they want on first down and really playing right into the hands of this Ohio defense.
So should we look for Shrek here once again?
Well, I think we can. There he is in your screen right there. He's been the go-to guy throughout the football game.
This time it's Robinson, near sideline, has enough for the first down.
Well, Shrek kind of clears everything out. They see the one-on-one coverage. Again, Ohio's playing the softer zone, allowing the receivers to make the catches. I don't think they want to give anything up on an explosive play down the field, so they're playing off, just allowing some of those passes to be caught as long as they can come up and make the sure tackle.
First and 10, 33-yard line of Buffalo for the Bulls. Jackson again looking for Robinson. That was Shrek rather, but it looked to be the same play.
Well, you notice what they're doing for Buffalo. They understand that this Ohio defense is really good at getting after the passer. So what do? You change your target angles. You take the quarterback and you move him around. So these little bootlegs, these little sprint outs, things to get him outside the pocket so you can kind of limit the pressure that Ohio can put on you. They did just exactly that. Just an inaccurate throw by Jackson.
Second and 10 from the 33. Robinson in motion, top of your screen. Jackson in the pocket, steps up. O'Keefe and was leveled pretty hard. He may not be feeling well right now. He reached for his chest, signaled towards the sideline.
Well, once again, we can't not talk about just his frame. At 6'7", that's just a lot of body and a lot of area to hit when you're a defender. He's a runner. He declares himself a runner, so you don't have to worry about anything specifically about not touching the quarterback. And I tell you what, he better start laying it down, because these guys will swarm and hit you from every angle. And you see how awkward he just got bent back there.
Chad Moore and Casey Sales laid into him. Buffalo 6 of 10 on third down.
Second charge timeout, Buffalo.
Buffalo calls a timeout. Lance Leipold probably realizes that with 1:04 remaining, it has to be qualitative snaps, because they want points before more points before they get into the halftime locker.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you got to get some points, and you've shown the ability to strike explosively, even with your tight end. But I wonder if that hit that he just took on that last play just kind of got him out of sorts. He lost track of the play clock. It was winding down. Luckily, he got enough time to call the timeout and preserve the 5-yard penalty. But you can see how hits can take effect on quarterbacks. You don't always have to injure them or hurt them, but it can knock you out of your game and knock you out mentally from really taking command of the offense that you need to do, especially when you're under 2 minutes at the half.
Well, we just saw him smile, so that's always a good thing. He kind of laughed, and Lance Leipold's Bulls will get the ball, remember, to begin the first half. They deferred at the beginning of the game, so let's see what they can dial up here with 1:04 remaining in the first half. Jackson rolling right, releases. That's a first down to Jacob Martinez, a junior from Southport, Florida.
Well, again, you get Tyree Jackson outside the pocket to limit that pass rush.
Jackson across the middle again. This is to Johnson.
They got to watch that clock now.
He's met at the 50-yard line by Coleman.
You want to try to preserve this timeout for any sort of rushed field goal situation. You got to limit your throws in the middle of the field.
Jackson up the sideline. The catch was made by Martinez. 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Pick up a 13 on the play. Jackson again near the sideline. And that's Shrek. He's out of bounds, forced out by Torrin Davis. whom he met earlier.
Exactly. Well, Torin this time is not going to get shucked away by the Shrek. He actually had a sure tackle, and I think Shrek, understanding the game situation, knew that he had to get out of bounds to stop that clock. So Buffalo right now doing a good job of hurrying up to the line, understanding the game situation, throwing the ball to the outside, and even if you want to take advantage of some of those mismatches with your tight end smartly gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Score would mean so much for Buffalo in this game at this juncture. Shrek 110 yards receiving already. Jackson stepping up and overthrows his wide open receiver.
And he smartly did the right thing. He scrambled, he saw everybody was covered, but he understands that he's not going to make as good of a play running as he could throwing. And Ireland was there open, and he just overthrows him. Again, I think sometimes at 6'7", it's hard to get that ball down onto the target of these smaller wide receivers, especially when you're running, you can't set your feet.
You saw there Mitchison's career long field goal, 46 yards, third down conversions tonight, 7 of 11 for Buffalo, that's 32%. Jackson stepping up, keeps it. He has room to run up the middle and slides near the 15-yard line. That's what you were suggesting he needs to start doing.
Well, it's designed quarterback draw. Now they have to get up, get to the line of scrimmage. That clock is running now, trying to preserve that one timeout.
Going towards the end zone. Flags come out. He was looking for Robinson. Kylan Nelson was there, and there was contact.
I'll have to take a look at this one again on replay because both the receiver and Nelson had their hands on each other.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, first down.
So what do you do here?
You know, you've got 4 seconds.
Correction. It's a 15-yard penalty. The ball will be placed at the 3-yard line, first down.
Hey, like I was saying, I think you stay aggressive. I know that they get the ball at the start of the second half, but I think you stay aggressive. They're sending the field goal unit on right now.
I'd want the points.
To get the 3 points.
Because I know, as we mentioned, I'm getting the ball to begin the second half.
Yep.
Don't take those points off the board. Ohio's defensive front 7.
You could be down 10 if you go for it and you score. Then you get the ball again and you score again. All of a sudden now you're within 3 points of taking the lead or tying this thing up. So we're going to opt for the 3 here.
20-yard attempt by Mitchison. How about the special teams of Ohio? I guess you knew a little something, Coach Lieber.
Well, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But again, I think you take those situations on the road. Defense can't stop Ohio right now. Go for the touchdown.
There's a look at it.
And you'll see just the push up front. And it was Casey Sales who got pushed in the back earlier on an unnecessary roughness call. He comes up big as they attempt to get 3 points going to half. And again, that's the risk you take. When you get your special teams out there, they blocked the field goal, and now it's 27-10 going at half.
Tina's downstairs with Coach Solich.
Coach Solich, you emphasize special teams, field position, forcing turnovers. In what ways have your players executed that this first half?
Well, I think we've done a good job on special teams in most cases. Really what we're not doing a good job on is blocking and tackling and covering deep throws. So we got a lot to correct at halftime.
Offensively, your quarterback, Quentin Maxwell, still evolving, still young. What have you seen of him so far the first half?
You know, a little inconsistent, but he stays in there. He battles. He's thrown a couple deep balls really well and put some points on the board for us.
Coach Solich, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Dwayne, Ben, back to you.
Thank you, Tina. Frank Solich walks off the field feeling fairly good right now. His Bobcats getting it done. That's the end of the first half with the score. Ohio 27, Buffalo 10. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Ohio leading Buffalo 27-10 here at the half in Athens, Ohio. Welcome back along with Ben Lieber, I'm Dwayne Ballin. First half wasn't quite what we thought it would be.
No, not at all. I think we all thought it was going to be a running physical attack from both sides, and really the difference is explosive plays through the air.
Time to look at our Geico's difference makers, beginning with Buffalo's Mason Schreck, who established himself.
Well, you know, he's the team leader in receptions and yards for a reason. They like to target him a lot, and they did that again tonight. There was a 75-yard touchdown pass that really kind of skews those numbers, but again, talks about his playmaking ability. They can line him up, you know, in the slot or as a regular tight end, but he can make plays all over the field.
And then for Ohio, Quentin Maxwell sounded the clarion. The first play from scrimmage, 75 yards.
And I think that play really set everything up throughout the game, but he needed that. He needed a confidence booster. And we'll see it right here. It's 1st and 10, the first play of the game. They see man coverage. Everybody thinks that Ohio's going to run the football because that's what they do. So they play action pass. They get the safety to bite up, which is exactly what play action pass is designed to do. And Poppy White, the electric wide receiver, goes out one-on-one, wins that 50-50 ball, and takes it in for the score. So that, to me, really set everything up and set the tempo and the tone this whole game for Ohio on offense.
Remember, Buffalo deferred in the opening kickoff, so the Bulls will receive the ball to begin this second half. They need more of that man, Mason Schreck, who's had quite a night already, but they also need better distribution from other receivers.
Well, somebody's going to have to step up other than Mason Schreck, and they have had Malcolm Robinson step up in the passing game, but they need more from everybody. Again, you're on the road. You have to start throwing the football a little bit more in the second half, abandon the run a little bit, and see if your young quarterback can lead you to victory, a come-from-behind victory here in Athens, Ohio.
Let's check in with Tina Servacio.
Well, I had a chance to talk to Coach Leipold. First of all, Tyree Jackson's fine, even after that bad hit, as you see him taking the field right now. But I asked Coach Leipold about Jackson's frustration. He said he's just disappointed because he knows we can play better. Plus, this team has had miscues on special teams, and Leipold says they've got to clean that up. They're giving them a short field. There's the 2 turnovers. You can't do that against a good football team. Coach Leipold says, look, we had flashes. We can make this a football game if we play 4 quarters. Dwayne?
Well, Tina, let's see what happens. They begin this second half from the 25-yard line on the ground, and that's what they did last week. Jordan Johnson with clearly his biggest run of the night. Stopped by Torrin Davis, 24 yards.
It's Manuel Salvis right here on the key block. He's the left guard. He gets up to the linebacker. They get on the second level, and whenever you're a running back and you can get to the second level and the third level without getting touched, those guys up front are doing their job. That's how you start here in the second half with a big explosive run.
Johnson again up the middle, gets into the secondary. He's a big back with deceptive speed, the way the coaches categorize him.
You know, and I don't think that you can necessarily take this approach where you kind of line up, huddle up, take your time. I think there has to be a sense of urgency throughout if you're Buffalo, because yes, you can be explosive, but this is a very good defense. I think you keep it high tempo, you keep it uptick, sense of urgency, throw the ball down the field when you have the opportunity.
Jackson under pressure, goes down. There's that defensive unit of Ohio. Blair Brown, their all-star linebacker, with a sack. There's another player down on the field for Buffalo. Loss of 6 on the sack.
And we mentioned Brown throughout this football game. And again, he's the guy, and you'll see he just gets rolled up. That's Ruben Joseph, the left tackle. Just got rolled up there on that sack. But when we talk about Blair Brown, I mean, this is a guy that, you know, has shown a lot of flashes. We talk about his instincts, and we talk about just his aggressive nature as a linebacker, which is the reason why there's some NFL scouts here today. And along with Terrell Basham and some other guys, they're looking at Blair Brown as we see Joseph there get rolled up from behind. Again, always dangerous when you're an offensive lineman and you're kind of standing around and not moving your feet because there's bodies always flying around. It's a scary situation to be in for any offensive lineman.
Joseph, a senior from Springfield, Massachusetts, a commerce major. They're attending to him. There's Brown, whom defensive coordinator Jimmy Burrow called a force. Nice to see Joseph up and walking off under his own power.
Well, and the most important thing that play did with Blair Brown was set this offense back. Now it's 3rd and 12. Again, 3rd and 12 is a hard thing as an offensive coordinator to dial a play that you think you're confident that your offense can execute, again, especially with this great pass rushing defense in Ohio.
Jackson drops it off to Hawkins, who tries to turn upfield but doesn't get anywhere near the first down.
And it was Javon Hagan, the field safety, the young safety that came in, has kind of provided a spark for this defense that shoots the alley on that quick throw to the outside and pushes him out of bounds. Again, it's hard to run on the inside against this defense, and when you get playmakers like Javon Hagan running around out there, it's hard to make plays on the perimeter as well.
That brings on Cal Deween to put it away. White will not get the opportunity to field it. The Bobcats will get their first shot of the second half. Leading 27-10 here in Athens. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. Ohio leading 27-10 early in the third quarter. Let's check in on our Chick-fil-A fan cam to see the fans' reactions here in Athens. They are fired up. Have to like what they're seeing so far.
Well, they have to. I mean, the offense is kind of a juggernaut right now. Typically, you see them run the football with success, but they've been throwing the football all over the place. Yeah, their defense has stepped up as well. So a lot to like here for your Ohio Bobcats.
Bobcats' first possession of the second half beginning at the 33-yard line. Quentin Maxwell in the backfield hands it off to Malik Irons, who has run well so far. Ohio's first half possessions, pretty efficient.
There's not a lot there that you wouldn't like if you're the offensive coordinator, Tim Albin. You get a touchdown again right off the first play, and I think really the thing that stands out is the lack of plays, the lack of long drives. You know, they can do that. They can put you in a position to make mistakes, but it's been a highly explosive offense today.
Irons already with 63 yards rushing, trying to fight forward for the first down. Physical back is how he was described by offensive coordinator Tim Albin. Seems to be taking himself out of the game at the moment. There's Albin there, as we noted, with the military cap on. And they like the complement of backs they have in Ohio.
Well, and you may see Dorian Brown get the carry right here on first down. He is the guy that stepped up last week. You see the handoff. He's a big physical runner. You see he puts his shoulders down. He does a really good job of keeping the shoulders above and in front of his knees, which allows him to keep the weight going forward. And on first contact, he keeps those feet going. You see that? It's hard to get him to a tackle and a wrap up to get him back. He always seems to fall forward. That's why they like him run the football.
Career high 212 yards last week against Toledo. Here he is again. This time, he was probably one defender away from turning this into a large game. Tim Roberts stopped him.
Well, Daron Woods, once again, we've called his name for kind of the wrong reasons a little bit. He's had a couple penalties, a holding call and offsides today, but he really is one of the key guys in the offensive front because they like to pull their guards, and a lot of times he's one of their primary pullers on that right guard running to the left side, and once again gets a key block on that run right there.
3rd and 2. Maxwell. Sebastian Smith had to turn around and could not quite get there.
Well, it was pressure off the outside for Buffalo that really made him accelerate that throw and the timing of that throw. And again, that's, you know, if you're going to go back and watch film of that, you're going to tell Sebastian that that ball hit you in the hands. Maybe the timing was off. You came out of your break and it was right there for you. Maybe you weren't anticipating it to be right there so quickly, but hit you in both hands. You got to come down with that.
Michael Farkas on to punt away to Jamal Island. Island calling for a fair catch. Bobbled the ball, but he does collect it. That's where Buffalo will take over when we return to Athens. Let's take a look at the college football playoff poll powered by Ram Trucks, and I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going to go, right? Where is everybody going to go? Right there. I think everybody, you know, I get it. I get it. They talk about A&M having a better strength of schedule, but it's hard to ignore 8-0.
Well, Kirby Hocutt says that A&M has more quality wins than Washington does.
At this point. At this point.
We have much football to play. Buffalo, 1st and 10. Tried to run over the right side with Hawkins.
You know, I know that this is only the second series of the second half for Buffalo, but this is one of those situations where you have to get points on the board. Not necessarily a touchdown, but you need to at least redeem yourself from that blocked field goal attempt at the end of the first half and try to get at least 3 points here to kind of get some momentum and get yourself back in this game.
Ari Jackson, 19 completions to 8 different receivers. Can he make it 9? He throws it away.
And you see what happens when you want to move the pocket and you want to alleviate some of this pass rush that Ohio has. You get your quarterback out of the pocket, but what does that do? It cuts off half the field. Now you only have just the right side in this particular instance to look at. They kind of flooded over there with 2 different receivers. They get those guys covered up, and now you have no options to throw. You have to try to force something in there or run with your feet, but that is the risk you take when you split the field in half by moving your quarterback around.
3rd and 7 from the 18. Marcus McGill in motion. Jackson with a nice ball to McGill. That's enough to move the chains. Pickup of 17.
Sideline warning to Ohio. Their first sideline warning. No yardage will be assessed.
You know what I like about this play? Is Tyree Jackson throws this ball before he comes out of the break. That's the anticipation that coordinators and quarterback coaches like to see. And as a young quarterback, it's good to see him making strides like that. That's a key 3rd down pickup by Tyree Jackson there.
1st and 10. Jackson going deep. Overthrows his intended receiver. There is a marker down at the 35-yard line. He was looking for KJ Osborne.
And they just
Pass
signaled.
Interference. Offense, number 8. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
And they're going to get KJ Osborne. It's top of this route, pushing off. Right there. It's the 2-handed shove. It's not the hand fighting. The hand fighting's fine. You can hand fight down the field like that as long as you don't grab on either side. But when you take 2 hands as a receiver and you push off to gain separation, that's where they're going to pull the flag and penalize you.
So that brings up 1st and 25 for Buffalo. From the 19. Brian Schreck, who this time, Torrin Davis is not going to let him go.
Did you see Torrin Davis on that particular play? He got shucked the last time on the big touchdown pass by Schreck, and this time he's just holding on for dear life. I don't care. It's not going to look pretty. I'm going to grab and hold on and try to get him down.
Schreck on his knees on the sideline after that play being tended to a pickup of 10 yards. That sets up 2nd and 15. Jackson, time to throw. Quick sideline pattern. He could not connect with Tyler Mayfield. There's Schreck, who's had a tremendous evening already. Their best receiver from the tight end position.
We'll see Schreck come back in the game. He kind of got rolled up on a little bit when Davis drug him down, and that's kind of one of those like horse collar situations, although it wasn't a horse collar, but the movement of him kind of going back, the defender rolling up from behind him, so it's nice to see him limp off the field, but now jog back on.
Buffalo 9 of 14 on third down. Johnson out of the pocket and is dropped, caught. Down he goes. Terrell Basham, who's Ohio's all-time sacks leader, is a disruptive force up front.
Well, and it's Basham on the right side of your screen. They're kind of moving him around. Normally the left defensive end. On the right-hand side that time, a little tech stunt where the defensive tackle goes up the field. He comes out underneath, and it almost becomes a spy on the quarterback. That's the reason why he was there to make the play.
Kyle Dewey's punt. Poppy White will not get an opportunity to field it. It bounces and takes an Ohio bounce down near midfield. Ohio Bobcats say no on that last series. Leading it 27-10 in Athens. Ohio leading Buffalo 27-10. Now let's take a look at the Roll Age Rapid Relief performance. Ben, Malik Irons.
Well, Malik, we didn't know if he was going to get a lot of carries today. He comes out the gate running hard and running strong and kind of showing off, why they like him as a running back. Good feet, good power, plunges in there for a 1-yard touchdown. But here's what we're looking at right now. He's been battling some injury with his shoulder, had an illness a couple weeks ago, but he's hobbled up right now. Let's go down to Tina on the sidelines if we have an update on Malik Irons.
You guys were right earlier. He did take himself out of the game. When he ran off the field, he went right to a trainer. They went right to the training table. He got that right ankle retaped. He's been testing it out even after the punt. He's still stretching it out, guys.
Thank you, Teeter, for that. Maxwell going to the air, and Dorian Brown, who also is dinged up, is now in replacing Malik Irons, who was replacing him.
Well, I wondered when Ohio came out of this game throwing the ball as much as they were. They kind of abandoned the run game. They didn't even try to attempt much of the run game early on. I wondered if it was this, hey, we're going to protect our running backs that are both kind of banged up. Now that Malik Irons is out, kind of seeing if he's going to come back in with that ankle injury, I wonder if we're going to see a little less running, because you can't afford now to have Dorian Brown go out, who's also rehabbing an injury this whole week, and we didn't know for how much we're going to see him tonight.
Charles Harris leading the defensive charge as they stop Brown behind the line of scrimmage. We may very well see D.L. Knott, number 19, before this evening is over. A true freshman in the backfield for Ohio. Maxwell throwing, has his receiver, Belak, who everyone on this staff is high on. First down.
Well, Belak's the number 2 receiver right there. You'll see him come across. It's just a double over route by both he and the inside receiver. The inside receiver clears everything out, and Belak does a good job of not only finding the opening, but getting to the sticks, because he knew with the defender all over him, it's going to be a catch and immediately go to the ground. So good job, good awareness by Belak to get to the first down marker.
Redshirt freshman from Myrtle Beach sets up a first down for a 14-yard pickup. Now Maxwell going for much more, overthrows his receiver. He was looking for Poppy White. Cameron Lewis was with him defensively.
And again, it's something that keeps showing up on first down. They're taking their shots down the field as we take a look at Malik Irons. And again, Tina was telling us about that ankle. Little gimpy right now, getting it retaped. Looks like he's getting extra tape on that thing. We'll see if he makes a return in this game.
Well, the Buffalo defensive unit is showing signs of definite life.
Well, they really are. They had a big key stop on third down earlier in this drive. Now again on second down, Damon Harris causes the disruption up front, which allows all of his buddies to kind of get there and tackle Dorian Brown. So now once again, this Ohio offense on third and long situations tough conversions on 3rd and long. Let's see if they can pick it up here.
Brown, 8 rushes for 13 yards, a lot different from last week. 3rd and 12. Maxwell has a man up the sideline. Cameron Lewis was there defensively again to deny Sebastian Smith.
Well, the last 3rd down, they go to Kyle Belak, and this is the 2nd time on this set of downs that they tried to go big with Sebastian Smith. He's made a number of plays tonight. Here's your biggest, most rangy and speediest receiver, so I like the idea of going to him, but those are 50-50 shots. Those are low percentage throws, and I'm surprised twice there they tried to go with Sebastian Smith down the field.
Maxwell hit just one of his last 5 passes. Marcus, this is what he does well inside the 20. Look at that. He did that 6 times last week. Farkas scoops it up like he's playing middle infield.
They get four wide outs, and they get him dotting that thing. That's a lot of space for a quick guy like that to cover. I laid my hands on him a few times.
First down, courtesy Michael Farkas' wonderful punt has the Bulls deep in their own territory. And trying to run it out.
Well, as usual, when you're backed up against your own end zone, you try to gain some more separation from that end zone. You try to run the ball out, but Ohio, obviously knowing that, told those guys to pin their ears back, get across that line of scrimmage and try to make a play. And now Buffalo goes small here with some receivers.
Remember, this is the #1 run defense in the MAC. And the emphasis is on pressure.
Well, it's on pressure, and the guy that they're trying to feed the ball to is Jordan Johnson, who had that huge game last week and just really has not done anything today. It's, you know, a lot of credit to this Ohio defensive front 7. They've done a good job. We've talked a lot about how they can get after the passer, but they've done a nice job tonight stopping the run and really limiting what Buffalo can do offensively and making them one-dimensional.
3rd and 6. Tyree Jackson looking for Marcus McGill.
That's an unbelievable touch throw. Again, we talk about him cutting off the field when you roll the quarterback out. You know that you have to throw to that side of the field, and watch him right over the defender. That's a perfectly thrown ball. Nice touch from McGill to come down with that.
Johnson didn't go very far before he ran head-on into Casey Sales, a senior from Omaha.
Once again, we're watching this clock wind down here in the 3rd quarter, and Buffalo's shown their ability to be explosive. I think you're just going to have to see if you can ask your offensive lineman to protect a little bit, see if they can keep that pass rush at a minimum and throw the ball down the field.
2nd and 9, Jackson calls his own number. And that clearly was designed.
Well, again, you're going to have a number of your design plays with your quarterback. He was eyeing on that read option, the overhang player, seeing if he can find that void in there. He saw it and took it himself.
3rd down. Johnson picks up the 1st down, so they are beginning to lose a change, but you, my friend, are emphasizing time.
Well, again, I think this defense has been too stout all game long. You take away 2 explosive plays they had in the first half, a 75-yard pass play and a 44-yard pass play, and they really haven't done much outside of that. So I would say, again, be risky. You know, don't be so conservative right now. I know that's maybe your MO and your pedigree and where you've come from, but you're on the road and you're down 17 against a tough defense. Press the field, press that line of scrimmage, see if you can get something over the top.
You see what offensive coordinator Andy Koltanicki and head coach Lance Leipold dial up here on 2nd and 10. 4:19 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Bulls with the ball, trailing by 17. There was pressure. Jackson tried to get it away, but Terrell Basham was right there.
Well, they brought the blitz with the linebackers on the inside, and Basham does such a good job with his length. If you're not going to get to the quarterback and hit him, at least on that three-step drop, you can at least try to get your arm out there, extend your arm, and he timed that perfectly to knock that ball down. And here we go once again, Buffalo with a long third down conversion attempt.
11 of 17 are the Bulls this evening on third down conversions. Jackson, not much time to throw. He goes down. That's Basham and Brown connecting at the quarterback.
We've called Brown's name a number of times. You're going to see him come right through here, and then watch this little loop-de-loop, an inside spin move for Basham that kind of gets there late. Both guys attacking the edges of the offensive linemen and just causing, once again, a whole bunch of chaos in the backfield.
Last two punts for Buffalo, 16 and 22 yards respectively. Kyle DeWeen comes on, popping White, waiting this one. And it will not be returned. It takes a Buffalo bounce. So Ohio will get the ball back. Inside, it's on 30-yard line. Tyree Jackson running out of time. 47-yard punt. Sacks allowed this season, but tonight it's been hard. And again, we keep talking about how impressive and relentless this Ohio defensive unit is.
Well, you know that you're going to have your hands full when you're going to go against these guys. And yeah, you have to like pick your spots when you can drop back. It's just, you have to do a better job up front when there's just a four-man rush. Ohio has the benefit of not having to blitz all the time. They don't have to blitz. And that last particular sack, that's just a four-man rush.
First down. Out of the backfield, it's White. He doesn't go very far before Dev Lamore breaks him down. Lamore, another one of those Canadians from Montreal. 6'2", 200-pound redshirt freshman by way of Vanier College. Pick up a 4 on that play for White, sets up 2nd and 6. Maxwell under pressure, releases to White, who is so good once he catches the ball. Wrestles a bit with Cameron Lewis before going out of bounds.
And I will say right now, we've talked a lot about Ohio's defense, but this second half, Buffalo's defense has done a nice job of giving themselves a chance to go 3 and out and get off the field. So this is now the second time here as this third quarter is winding down, where they've got an opportunity on not exactly an easy conversion at 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. So let's see if they can dial up blitz, get some pressure on this quarterback, see if Quentin Maxwell makes an errant throw or they get a sack.
First charge timeout, Ohio.
Timeout taken by Ohio.
30-second timeout.
So the Bobcats and Frank Solich want to think about this because, as you just pointed out, there is the opportunity for things to change a bit here.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, it's now the field position game. Buffalo has had 2 really bad punts. They have not helped them out. And then conversely, Ohio's done a really good job of pinning them back up against their own end zone. So if you want to win the field position game and understand that your offense is not exactly clicking right now, give them a short field. It's imperative right now that they get off the field on 3rd and 4.
Buffalo, we noted that big win over Akron, 41-20 last week. For Ohio, we beat Toledo 31-26. Ohio had not beaten Toledo since 1988, Reagan, and hadn't won in Toledo since the Summer of Love.
It's a long
1967.
time. It was a long time coming.
Big win for the Bobcats. Put them squarely in first place in the East in the map. Big third down. 4 to go. That's Malik Irons back in the game in the backfield. Maxwell under pressure. He's going to get away. Pick up the first down. Still on his feet. What a play by Maxwell as we see him growing up before our eyes as a defensive quarterback.
Well, Brian Borland, the defensive coordinator, does exactly that. Dials up a pressure up the middle. It's just a cross-buck action that you see a lot in college football with the linebackers. And what happens, they're undisciplined in their rush lanes and allows Maxwell to see that opening and get up the field and pick up that third down.
16-yard gain. And the redshirt freshman Rayburn. And he does it again. Tina, this young man is special on and off the field.
Yeah, very impressive tonight on the field, and get this, off the field. So he's never got a B, as in he only gets all A's. And at 14 years old, Quentin Maxwell earned rank of Eagle Scout. Only 2% of Cub Scouts ever get that, but it's in his blood. Maxwell's grandfather, father, and his younger brother are all Eagle Scouts as well.
You know, Tina, that B business, I looked at Ben to see if maybe he did that at Kansas State.
Listen, I was put on academic probation my freshman year. I enjoyed myself a little too much my freshman year, so I certainly got B's and lower than that.
Well, I can tell you, as a Cub Scout washout, I'm very impressed that Maxwell became an Eagle Scout. 2nd and 11. Maxwell out of the backfield to Irons, who has stood up.
Well, to go back to what Tina was talking about, he told us yesterday as we talked to Quentin Maxwell just how much that preparation and that drive to be an Eagle Scout has really helped him academically here at Ohio, but also on the football field. The coaches were telling us because he's so smart already as a redshirt freshman, he's doing things pre-snap that they didn't have in the past, even with senior quarterbacks. They're just so impressed by how smart he is and how much he prepares, and a lot of it's because of him being an Eagle Scout.
And they light up when they think about what is to come with him. 3rd and 9. Maxwell. Downfield, nearly picked off.
It's Ryan Williamson, the safety in the middle of the field, was just squatting there. You have to understand and see that. It's not like he was disguising anything. Williamson was just, as one of the deeper safeties, probably should have been deeper as the receiver was trying to get over the top, but that was a bad throw by Quentin Maxwell.
Now Michael Farkas is back on again. We just mentioned in the last punt how deft he is at getting the ball inside the 20-yard line. Let's see what he does here. That is an amazing piece of work and great special teams play.
Well, it's most impressive by Belak, the gunner, to recognize he gets past the football, puts his feet on the goal line, and turns around and tries to locate the ball. And luckily for him, the ball takes the bounce and lands right in the breadbasket.
Boy.
So watch him here. He beats, as a gunner, he gets down the field as fast as he can, locates the ball, and just like any sort of baseball player gauging where that ball is going to land, he does such a good job. A lot of times the special teams coordinators will tell you, if you get there fast enough, you can catch that football. You can actually put yourself in a position to catch that ball and down that, and you don't have to run the risk of that ball taking an errant bounce and getting past you and into the end zone.
Redshirt freshman from Myrtle Beach has Buffalo deep in his own territory. Johnson trying to run it out. That should be the very final play of the 3rd quarter. And Buffalo is looking up a steep hill right now. Full complement of timeouts.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
But they have a lot of work to do. The end of the 3rd quarter with the score, 27-10 Ohio. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Here is the Bud Light game summary, scores by quarter. No scoring in the 3rd quarter, so both defenses settling in, really.
Yeah, both defenses doing a really good job as we take a look at the stats here. Surprisingly, almost 300 yards passing for Buffalo and only 10 points to show for it. It's the 5 sacks that's really set them back. They've been in a lot of 3rd and long situations, can't convert. And it's the efficiency of Ohio right now, actually throwing the football to win. Normally a running football team, but doing a good job with Quentin Maxwell throwing the ball down the field.
Our Bud Light game summary. Would you advocate Buffalo really going more to the air, deeper routes?
Well, you have to. I think you have to do something, not necessarily maybe deeper routes, but you got to stretch the field a little bit.
Well, that's not stretching the field. That's running right into the heart of Ohio's strength.
Well, I think what they're concerned about, too, is they've been sacked 5 times and a lot of other pressures. Outside of that, you run the risk of dropping back into your own end zone and taking a safety with this defensive front that's going to pin their ears back and try to get after you.
3rd and 3 for Buffalo. Trailing in the opening moments of this 4th quarter, 27-10 here in Athens, Ohio. Tipped and nearly picked off by Hagan, who has been all around the ball this evening. Already has 1 interception.
You know, I really can't wait to see what he does as he gets older. Keep in mind, this is a redshirt freshman. This is his first time playing this season, and has been called the spark for this defense. They lagged a little bit. He comes in, gets the start, and he's been fantastic. Very instinctful, kind of has that it factor. Just seems so natural on the football field.
Green out of his own end zone. Right. All's a fair catch. And Ohio will start with favorable field condition when the offensive unit comes back out. A 39-yard punt by Dwayne.
Celebrations, but keep him out of the end zone. You want to see it.
That's a good point. 1st and 10 for Ohio. Maxwell. Found Poppy White. Finally pushed out of bounds by Williams.
Well, I tell you what, watch this right here. This was wide open. If he just had a little bit more time to look down the field, look at Sebastian Smith flying down the field, got the separation they wanted. Maxwell just did not see it, took a safe throw on the over route, but my goodness, what a missed opportunity for a deep shot.
White, 6 receptions for 114 yards so far. Sets up 1st down at the 26-yard line. And this time it's Maxwell keeping it, takes a hit, and goes through it before he stopped. You know, it's interesting, him running these plays. You asked Coach Solich about that. How much do you want to extend him out there?
Well, and he told us about 7 to 9 plays. That's about it, of actual quarterback run game. Because, as we mentioned, Greg Windham, the backup quarterback, is only in an emergency type of role because he got injured last week. So you don't have much behind him as far as depth, so you have to limit the amount of contacts, amount of hits he takes in the run game.
2nd and 6 from the 22 for Ohio, leading 27-10. It's time to hand off. And that's Dorian Brown. Tina has more on Malik Irons, who is out of the game at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't seen Irons return since he came to the bench, took himself out. I've seen him get retaped twice. It's the right foot, and all he's doing now is pacing. He is not stopped. Even during the commercial timeout when the offense was on the field, he did about 5 or 6 circles. He's got his helmet in his hand. He hasn't put it down yet, but he has not returned to this game, guys.
Well, Tina, you know what that means. Coach, I'm ready. You see me, right? 3rd and 1. It's Brown, 1st down, before he runs into a couple of defenders.
Well, and that's the reason right there. I don't think if you're Frank Solich, you have to put Malik Irons back in the game. You have a guy in Dorian Brown who ran for 212 yards last week when Malik Irons was out because of injury. You're up 17 points. You have the momentum. You're wearing down this defense. You have a guy that's very capable of winning this football game and just handing the ball off to Dorian Brown. So I don't think you press Malik Irons right now to come back in.
Brown, 10 rushes you see for 23 yards. He gets it again, right into the teeth of that Buffalo defensive unit. Boy, the game he had last week.
Timeout for an injured player.
Amazing. Player down on the field. for Buffalo.
It's like Charles Harris, number 92, a backup defensive end. And they can't afford to lose any more guys up front. Again, these guys are getting worn out by this Ohio offensive line, just been banging on them. And we'll see him right here. So keep your eyes on 92, Charles Harris. Hard to see what happened.
We'll step aside for a moment as they tend to Harris. Charles Harris walked off on his own power, which is always a good sign. Tonight's Red Zone is brought to you by Verizon. 2nd and 7 for Ohio. Tonight's Red Zone is brought to you by Verizon.
You know, we've talked about limiting the carries for Quentin Maxwell. This is the prime opportunity where you can use him in the run game, get that extra blocker out in front.
That's Brown looking for the end zone. Dev Lamore stopped him.
One of those read options where the quarterback has the option to either hand it off or pull it himself. He liked what he saw, having Dorian Brown carry that thing, and they're just shy now of the first down marker.
Brown, a redshirt junior from Pittsburgh. 5'11", 207 pounds. Pickup of 6 on that run.
I think you trust your offensive line here and you go for another run play.
3rd and 1. Well, it was not easy sledding there.
No, he's going to take his licks. I think everybody understands it's going to be quarterback run game or some variation of that. He was short of the touchdown, but just enough. Now it's 1st and goal.
Maxwell trying to get into the end zone. Depends upon the mark.
Short once again. Now you're looking at about 2nd and inches. I think you just line up and you go quarterback sneak. Hide behind those big offensive linemen, torpedo down at the defender's knees, and just try to like muscle your way in.
Harris, who walked off the field a few moments ago, was the one at the bottom of that scrum defensively for Buffalo. 2nd and goal. Flags fly. Out come the whistles.
Delay a game. Defense, number 99. Half the distance to the goal, 2nd down.
That's Romaine Douglas, the transfer from Louisiana Lafayette.
My guess is he was trying to bark out the play call, the hut sound, or whatever height or hit or whatever they use out there offensively,
right,
trying to get those offensive guys to jump off sides, and he got popped himself.
2nd and goal. Brown, the lone setback, gets the call. Stretches towards the goal line. Did the ball come out? Buffalo's indicating it did, and it's the Bulls' ball. But let's see as the officials clear everything up.
That to me looked like his knee was down and he was stretching.
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. 1st down.
It was ruled as a fumble.
Well, they're clearly going to look at this thing again. 2nd effort for Dorian Brown. He's down.
He's down right there. That's... Yeah.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. The play is under further review.
Yep, they'll take one look at this and be like, all right, nope, we got it wrong. It's going to be Ohio ball again. You know, this is the thing that's interesting to me is so many teams are so comfortable taking the snap from shotgun. Mm-hmm. But in these situations, when you've got 1 inch to go, you line up right under center, you take a traditional snap, and you just sneak that thing in the end zone. But it's wild to me that that's foreign to these college players. These college centers now, it's unnatural to have the quarterback's hands under center, and sometimes now that's the riskier snap, whereas back in the day, shotgun snap was the risky snap.
Frank Solich, we know which way he wants it to go.
After review, the runner was down prior to the ball coming out. Will be third down on the half-yard line.
Very popular ruling here in Athens, Ohio.
Yeah, he didn't just have one knee down. He had both knees down and both thighs down. So it was a pretty easy call when you slow that thing down. They got the right call. Ohio gets the ball back with another opportunity here on third and really short to try to see if they can extend this lead and really kind of put this game out of reach.
Ohio 5 of 12 on third down tonight. Brown 13 rushes for 32 yards. You saw Frank Solich, old fullback, 1966 from Nebraska. We know what he would have done here.
Right.
Third and goal. Maxwell keeps this. Walks his way into the end zone.
Well, that time it worked. It took them a bunch of chances. They weren't going to take any risks trying to throw the ball.
Timeout.
We've got an injury on the field, but it's Big Joe Anderson pulling off from the left guard to the right, gets the key block. Everything wide open, easy walk in for Quentin Maxwell.
Maxwell's first career rushing touchdown, but there is an Ohio player down on the field, and it's Dorian Brown. Up rather quickly, walking away. I'm not sure whom we will see in the backfield on the next series for them.
Well, let's take a look at Brown. He's just off to the right of the quarterback. He's responsible for the overhang player and really just got kind of clipped. You know, he had his eyes on the guy that he's supposed to block, and another player kind of clipped him from the left side there and spun him around. So not sure what the injury is, but good that he walked off.
Louis Zerbos' extra point is good. 10 plays, 47 yards, 5-0-1 it covered, and Quentin Maxwell just high-stepped his way into the end zone. The Ohio Bobcats appear to be getting stronger as this young man emerges as their quarterback of the present and future, leading 34-10 behind Quentin Maxwell, the redshirt freshman quarterback. Just his third start this evening. Jamie Ireland and Jonathan Hawkins awaiting the kickoff. And it's Ireland who doesn't go very far. Time now for the Michelin Defender of the Game. And then it's collective.
Yeah, it is collective. I mean, this Ohio defense has had its day. They have been awesome. Linebackers stepping up. Blair Brown, Quentin Poling showing off their instincts. Terrell Basham stepping up. They've done such a good job with just a four-man rush. And really, it goes back to what Tina was talking about early in this game. There's Jimmy Burrow, the defensive coordinator, has challenged these guys all week about what happened last year when they got physically beat up at Buffalo. They got beat in that game, and that was a constant reminder, and again, a challenge all week for you guys to respond, redeem yourself from last year, and I think they've done a fantastic job tonight.
When we asked Blair Brown yesterday, how often have you heard it? He said, every day.
Every day. As if, don't ask me again.
First down for Buffalo in a deep hole. Tyree Jackson slides after avoiding pressure. So for Buffalo, it's 34-10. What do you look for? What do you work on the remainder of this game?
Well, you always want to close out games. You know, you never want to take your foot off the gas, both offensively and defensively. And now that the defense is on the field right now, you don't want to give them any life, any sort of breathing room. You want to make sure that you do what you set out to do, stop them on third down and get off the field. So I don't think this is going to be any different. You want to go back and review this film and say, not only did we play a solid 3 quarters, we finished the game in the 4th quarter.
2nd and 9, you saw Trent Smart step into the passing lane as Jackson was trying to drop it off out of the backfield, but this Ohio defensive unit is absolutely relentless.
Well, they are relentless, and again, they've done a really nice job on first down, which, you know, puts them at the advantage now where they feel like Buffalo has to throw the ball. They can dial up some blitzes, which they haven't really done, but they can really key in on the pass, and they've done such a good job on first down, which allows them to have success on third.
Buffalo 11 of 19 on third down. Need 9 for a first. Jackson time to throw. Finds Hawkins. Breaks away from a couple of tacklers and should have enough for the first down.
Well, Buffalo got what they wanted. They saw everybody covered down the field. You use your check down. Don't try to do anything crazy. Just check it down and ask your players to make some plays, and he did right there as he got out of the hands of Foley on that first down pickup.
With 8:18 to go, Buffalo appears to be going a bit of tempo now.
Well, I was saying this at the start of the second half.
I know you were.
You need to go tempo and have a sense of urgency right from the get-go, because this defense is not going to allow you any breathing room. So any chance you can to put your foot on the gas and put them on their heels, you got to take advantage.
Alosay moved, but he says James O'Hagan
False
encroached.
start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, second down.
So it was O'Hagan who enticed him across the line. 8:04 remaining here in regulation. 34-10. Ohio jumped on Buffalo. The first play from scrimmage, a 75-yard strike. And frankly, the Bobcats have not looked back. 2nd and 14. Tyree Jackson, a 300-yard passing night. In trouble. And he runs into Cleon Alosay. Man from Pago Pago, capital of American Samoa, redshirt junior. Jackson looks tired.
He looks tired. He's a little beat up too. You know, it's in the common theme really when you saw O'Hagan jump off sides is that's kind of been showing up throughout this game. The turnovers on special teams, the interceptions, they've had personal foul penalties, they've had offsides, a little bit of everything to kind of shoot themselves in the foot.
3rd and 8. Jackson, a bit of time to throw. Flags down on the field.
And could we have another Buffalo penalty thrown in the vicinity of a holding call?
A lot of hands on
Personal
shoulders.
foul. Hands to the face. Offense, number 77. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So that's 2 straight penalties on O'Hagan.
We'll take a look at it here. There's O'Hagan right there. He's the offensive center. Now let's keep our eyes where his hands go. You can have your hands in the head and neck area as long as you don't finish there. You can place it there, but as long as you pull off, it's not going to be called. But you saw the head snap back. He finished with that left hand, and that's a good call on O'Hagan as he got penalized there and ruined any chance at a first down.
Bobby White fields this Dwayne punt at the 27 and doesn't go very far before he's hauled down. Jackson and the Bulls need help. 6:54 remaining here in the 4th quarter in Athens. 34-10. Ohio leading Buffalo. Ohio beginning this drive at the 30-yard line. And that is D.L. Knock, a true freshman running back. We said we might see him. He's from Springboro, Ohio. He was recruited as a wide receiver, but they've had to move him to running back because of the attrition.
Exactly. They had so many guys banged up. Malik Irons getting that ankle taped. Probably won't see him the rest of the night. And then Dorian Brown on that last touchdown drive kind of got clipped there a little bit. Not sure what the injury is, but when you have a 34-10 lead late in this game, there's no reason to put those guys out there. That's the reason you see DL Knock in the game right now.
Pick up a 5 on that last play. Knock again over the right side, breaking a couple of tackles before he's finally corralled and brought down by Jared Franklin. Tina has more on Brown.
Yeah, I've been watching Dorian Brown, and the trainers didn't really deal with him much. He was complaining about his right shoulder. They stretched him out. He even spoke to the coaches on the phone up in the booth. It just looks like Frank Solich does not want to take any risks with them having the lead guys.
Tina, I think that Coach Solich agrees with Ben here. No need to put either one of those young men back in the game at this stage.
When we talk about injuries, let's keep in mind that they didn't have to go to DL knock early in the year because they had Bo Hardy.
Right.
Safety, who could play running back as well.
Maxwell.
But Hardy can't come in and play because he's got a hand issue, and he's got this huge wrap on his left hand, so he's out of running back and back to safety. As we see Quentin Maxwell here on the read option, does such a nice job of reading the overhang defender, knowing that he can run with the football. That's a 21-yard gain as they're milking this clock, and they're going to win this football game as long as they keep doing what they're doing.
9 rushes for Quentin Maxwell, 49 yards, and his first rushing touchdown. This is Knox, who breaks an initial tackle, reaches across the 40-yard line. Khalil Hodge making the tackle. You know, Knox, 5'8", 191. He's kind of stocky.
I don't know if he call him stocky.
At 5'8", 191.
191, he's got I don't know, he looks a lot lighter than 191. I'm surprised that he's even 190 pounds. But the other interesting thing is Quentin Maxwell. He's your guy going forward. You like what he's doing. Why is he in the game right now?
Play clock at 6. It's Knock again, and these men at the corner.
If you're going to keep him in the game, then all these little read options, they're not read options. Take the option out of it. It's just hand off to the running back. I don't think you want to have any unnecessary hits right now in this game where you risk any sort of injury to Quentin Maxwell.
Well, as you say that, Joey Duckworth comes in. 6'3", 209-pound, redshirt sophomore from Louisville, Ohio. So they heard you, Ben.
Well, there you go. Like I said, why risk the rest of the season? You're on top of the MAC standings in the East. As long as you take care of business, you'll end up in the championship game, and you want your up-and-coming redshirt freshman quarterback to be healthy.
Ishmael Hodge stopped Knock. And when we visited with Maxwell yesterday, he really was impressive. He really was.
He has a great presence about him. I mean, he seems much more mature than just a redshirt freshman, and I can't help but think that a lot of it has to do with his upbringing. You know, he's got family members, his father, his grandfather, brother, they're all Eagle Scouts, and I think that just instills discipline throughout the whole family, and I think he is a much more mature young player than you'd normally expect.
I thought it was interesting. We asked him, as an Eagle Scout and everything you have to go through, how long could you survive in the wild by yourself with just maybe a compass?
Delay a game, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Offense delay of the game, and he told us a few days.
I think he was being pretty humble. I think he can make it a lot longer than that. I challenged him. I said, hey, can you do that Naked and Afraid game, you know, that on that show where you can go 21 days and survive in the wild? He's like, ooh, I don't think about that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you don't have to be naked, but you think you can do it? He's like, probably 2 days. I'm like, what? Eagle Scout, come on, you can do 21 days.
Let's see if Michael Farkas has another one of those inside the 5-yard line punts in him. Fair catch called, and this will be at 11. We'll return to Athens after this.
Stouffer's Fit Kitchen. Prime cuts of meat, 25 grams of protein, and savory mouth-watering sides. It's the perfect balance of delicious and nutritious, making it just the right fit for you. Stouffer's Fit Kitchen meals. This is fit.
Time has always had its own energy. We move with light. We rise with light. We live with light. Echo Drive. Powered by light. Any light. Never needs a battery. Citizen.
Buffalo has a new quarterback in the game now, Grant Rohak, who's a senior from Moorpark, California. So no more beating for Tyree Jackson tonight.
And Rohak is a transfer from Iowa State. And he's kind of a dual threat type of guy as well. You don't have to change much in the offense. And I know, this game is pretty much a lost game for Buffalo, but if he comes in the game, you can still do your quarterback run game. He has experience at the Division I level, at a high level in the Big 12. So, he can throw the ball down the field as well. But he started the season as a starting quarterback, but then got beat out by Tyree and his upside.
Rohawk trying to connect with Malcolm Robinson. Rather check that Jacob Martinez. He caught a couple of balls earlier from Tyree Jackson. Rohawk 6'2", 218 pounds. He started the season opener, as you noted. Buffalo coming up on another third down. 12 of 21 are the Bulls tonight in that situation. Rohawk completes to KJ Osborne. That's good enough for a first down. London Miller there defensively for Ohio.
You see a little bit of that ability I was talking about to throw the football, and it was the anticipation. Osborne comes out of his break, and Rohawk actually throws the ball right as he's coming out of the break, which makes it really hard on the defender to come up and make a play. So, you see just a small snippet of his skill set.
He lost the snap and will go down.
And that's not going to impress your coaches. I'll tell you that right there. Dropping the ball on the snap.
These Buffalo Bulls have to play at Miami of Ohio on the 12th. Ohio will get 12 days before playing at Central Michigan.
Such a late bye week. We talked to Frank Solich about it, and he said, it's not, you can't do anything about the schedule, but yes, it's one of the latest bye weeks he's ever had as a coach.
Hawkins, not much doing. We are now inside of 1 minute remaining. Frank Solich's Bobcats will improve to 5-1 in the conference. 7-3 overall. Buffalo will drop to 1-4 and 2-7. Solich is clearly in command in the East Division of the MAC.
Clearly in command, and they've qualified for bowl eligibility and most likely will go to a bowl game, so that's always fun for the players. But, most importantly, they're looking at that MAC championship game and they won a conference championship here. They want to hang that banner here, and they're one step closer to that.
Here are those standings we were just referencing. Buffalo looking up, Ohio looking over.
A pretty commanding lead right now in the East. Akron just a couple weeks ago was right there, tied at the top in the East. They've lost 2 games in a row now, so they're pretty much out of it.
That is going to do it. Ohio is going to beat Buffalo 34-10. A career high passing for Maxwell. And Frank Solich wins. Once again, our final score, 34-10 Ohio. For Ben Lieber and Tina Cervasio and our entire CBS crew, I'm Dwayne Ballard. After the break, we send it to Inside the PBR World Finals presented by B&W Trailer Hitches.